Chapter 601. Lin Mo, the master of deception. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled in the sky, and a sea of lightning emerged. In the void beneath the assessment platform, a large amount of lightning also surged. Leyland spread its wings, its killing intent boiling. Lin Mo was extremely sensitive to killing intent, and instantly sensed the other party's murderous intent. He knew that Leyland had let something slip, saying something it shouldn't have. Even if he guaranteed not to tell, Leyland didn't fully believe him. To keep a secret, the dead are the safest. It planned to break the rules and kill him. Leyland's eyes were filled with killing intent. I've been thinking, and now I'll give you two choices. The first choice, I kill you. The second choice, you stay here forever. Lin Mo chuckled. These two choices were as disgusting as farts. Lin Mo didn't show any fear. Instead, he calmly said, aren't you afraid of the punishment from the Dragon King Palace? Leyland shook its head. It doesn't matter anymore, and I have a reason to kill you. This sentence had already shown its determination, disregarding even the punishment. Lin Mo said, actually, I didn't hear anything. My words carry little weight. Even if I told, no one would believe me. Leyland still shook its head. You don't understand. Some things I can't say, you can't hear. Lin Mo really didn't understand. He didn't understand why these things couldn't be said. Wasn't it just that outside the world, there might be other human worlds? Wasn't it just this one thing? What was there that couldn't be said? But looking at Leyland's appearance, it seemed to contain a great secret. Leyland said in a deep voice, don't waste time, just two choices, choose one. Since that's the case, Lin Mo's attitude also became tough. I choose neither, and you may not be able to kill me. Can't kill you. This was simply a joke to Leyland. As a dignified divine-level thunder giant dragon, killing a level 70 human professional was as simple as crushing an ant. It naturally wouldn't believe Lin Mo's words, but just as it was about to attack, it suddenly trembled and froze on the spot. Lin Mo was holding a scale in his hand, with complex patterns on it. This was the dragon scale that Antares had given Lin Mo. In times of danger, Lin Mo could activate it to return to Antares' side. The moment Leyland saw the dragon scale, its whole body began to tremble. How do you have this thing? Now its appearance was like a chicken being strangled by the neck, unable to move. Lin Mo smiled. Do you still think you can kill me now? Leyland fell into silence, and its killing intent gradually dissipated. The answer had already been revealed. Lin Mo held the dragon scale in his hand, as if holding a life-saving gold medal. There are many, many secrets in this world. I have even seen the artifact spirits left behind by professionals from the previous era. Seen those who go to try to pass levels with a narrow chance of survival, the half-step transcendent god, know the legion where transcendent gods are commanders and half-step transcendent gods are generals, seen the existence that forever sits in the world. I have chatted with it, and heard many, many stories. With each sentence Lin Mo said, Leyland couldn't help but tremble, and the electric snakes on its body would make a crackling sound. Lin Mo was telling one secret after another. But it didn't know that what Lin Mo said was a mixture of truth and falsehood. Some were information he analyzed from Antares' words. The mixture of truth and falsehood formed an illusion that he actually knew a lot. Bai Yiyuan's old profession was blackmailing, Lin Mo's profession was deception. He usually doesn't talk much, but when he deceives, he has a whole set of tricks. Lin Mo said, look, I know so many secrets, what you said is nothing. Isn't it just some things about the multiverse? It's really nothing. I won't tell anyone, there's no benefit in telling, and no one would believe me anyway. Lin Mo spoke very sincerely. The mixture of truth and falsehood made it difficult for Leyland to distinguish. Leyland seemed to be moved, and hesitated. Really? You promise not to tell? Although dragons are powerful, their brains don't seem to work very well. Lin Mo struck while the iron was hot. Yes, I won't lie to you. And in exchange, I can also tell you a secret about me. Leyland asked, what? Lin Mo said, actually, I have immunity to electric elements, so you want to kill me. Disbelief was revealed in Leyland's eyes. Elemental immunity, very few humans have this ability, and you actually have it. You can try if you don't believe me. Upon seeing this, Leyland casually released a bolt of lightning that landed on Lin Mo. Lin Mo allowed the lightning to flow and travel through his body, without feeling anything. Really immune. Leyland released several more lightning attacks, each time with greater power. But Lin Mo still didn't feel anything. He just stood there, motionless, letting you attack. After some attempts, Leyland finally believed it. With electric element immunity, it was indeed not easy for it to kill Lin Mo. Leyland was once again deceived by Lin Mo without realizing it. It only saw Lin Mo's immunity to electric elements, but forgot Lin Mo's level. If Leyland used its full power, it could possibly slap the other party to death with pure physical attacks. Of course, this was only for ordinary professionals. It was far from enough to slap Lin Mo to death. So Lin Mo was still mixing truth and falsehood, and having a semi-guided conversation with Leyland. Leyland had completely fallen into it, its killing intent had completely disappeared, CJBA. From the bottom of its instinct, it felt that it really couldn't kill Lin Mo. But thinking about it, it felt that something was wrong, as if something was missing. Lin Mo put away the dragon scale. Okay, let's pretend this never happened. You didn't say anything, and I didn't hear anything. Let's conduct the assessment according to the rules. Under Lin Mo's reminder, Leyland's thoughts were interrupted. Lin Mo guided the topic back to the assessment, not letting Leyland think about other things. Leyland really took the bait. Let's start the assessment. Let me tell you about the rules of the assessment. There are only 2 requirements for the second level of the assessment, one is to come here, and the other is to withstand my attacks for 10 minutes. My attacks will remain between level 80 and 83, which is a cross-level challenge for you, and you should also know that attributes increase relatively quickly after level 80. But you are immune to electric elements. Even if I launch divine level attacks, they will be ineffective against you. So let's just go through the motions for this assessment. This was the result Lin Mo wanted. Okay, let's just go through the motions. Acting, he was an old actor. Both sides knew what was going on, and the assessment began in a strange atmosphere. As usual, a shield was raised, covering the entire assessment field. Then Leyland spewed out dragon breath, and the assessment field was immediately transformed into a sea of lightning. Thunder rumbled, deafening. The sea of lightning covered the sky and the earth, like a disaster that would destroy the world, completely swallowing Lin Mo. Whether perceived with the eyes or sensed with the spirit and soul, the sea of lightning possessed immense power, reaching the limit of level 83. For a level 70 professional, facing this level of attack would almost certainly result in instant annihilation. Yet, within the sea of lightning, Lyle and Lin Mo Yu, the 2 actors, stared at each other, wide-eyed. Lin Mo Yu even found it somewhat amusing. Lightning passed through his body without causing the slightest harm. At that moment, Lyle completely believed that Lin Mo Yu was immune to electric elements. To be completely immune to elements, very few can achieve this level. It seems only law of lightning. Lyle looked at Lin Mo Yu, thoughts surging like turbulent waves. However, it kept its mouth tightly shut, not daring to say more. The more said, the more mistakes made. It had already said many wrong things before, and if they were spread, the impact would be significant. Now it could only choose to believe in Lin Mo Yu, hoping that Lin Mo Yu would not spread its wrong words. Lin Mo Yu seemed to have guessed its current thoughts and even gave it a reassuring look. The 10-minute assessment time quickly passed, and the sea of lightning disappeared. In the assessment field, Lin Mo Yu remained calm and composed. Lyle coughed lightly. The second level is passed. Now you can choose to continue the assessment or leave with your reward. If you choose to continue the assessment, success will double the reward, and failure will result in the loss of all rewards, even risking your life. Now you can choose. It didn't specify what the reward was, nor did it say how difficult the next level of assessment would be. Like a riddle, Lyle only started it, without revealing the specific clues or answers. This was the rule of the dungeon, to make choices in the unknown, and more of a test of oneself. Lin Mo Yu didn't hesitate. I choose to continue. He hadn't obtained Antares's dragon pearl yet, how could he quit here? He could only continue on this path. Lyle said, are you sure? Actually, the current reward is already quite good. The reason he could pass its level smoothly was because Lin Mo Yu possessed the characteristic of electric element immunity. It wasn't by virtue of strength. The next level would be more difficult. Lin Mo Yu, who was only level 70, might not be able to pass. Lin Mo Yu was very certain. I'm sure, let's continue. Lyle didn't persuade him a second time. According to the rules, it shouldn't have even said the previous sentence. Then okay. It let out a dragon's roar, echoing throughout the dungeon. Behind the assessment platform, steps appeared again. Chapter 602, What is poison to him, is honey to me. The steps led to the clouds, giving a sense of a road to heaven. The steps were still 100 levels, and the last part was hidden behind the clouds, making it impossible to see what was above the steps. Having had 2 experiences, Lin Moyu knew that the test of the 3rd level was first and foremost this 100-step staircase. Lin Moyu walked past Lyle, and said softly, "I will keep my mouth shut." Lyle heavily exhaled, "Thank you." Lin Moyu smiled and said nothing more. Arriving at the steps, he saw the void on both sides. The void was also filled with layers of clouds and mist, looking calm and peaceful, and nothing could be seen. Then he stepped onto the steps. The steps lit up slightly, and a light shot out from the steps and entered Lin Moyu's body. The bone armor didn't react at all, indicating that the light wasn't aggressive. Since mastering the bone armor, in 99.9% of cases, the bone armor would naturally react to danger. The number of times it had failed was only once or twice in Lin Moyu's memory. The bone armor was still trustworthy. This light that entered the body didn't cause a reaction from the bone armor, so it seemed harmless for now. However, Lin Moyu still became vigilant. Since it was an assessment, this light couldn't be without effect, and it must have its significance. But what exactly was it? Soul power flowed through his body instantly, and Lin Moyu tried to find the light that had entered his body. Soon, he found the light that had entered his body. After Lin Moyu gained the characteristic of poison element immunity, his body became pure and flawless, and anything that didn't belong to his body would be considered a toxin. In addition, with the vast soul power controlling the entire body, no foreign object could escape his senses. In a remote corner of his body, Lin Moyu found the light that had entered his body. A small spot of light, emitting a faint sacred aura. It didn't seem to have any harm, and it just stayed there quietly, without moving. It was precisely because of this that the bone armor didn't react. Lin Moyu thought for a while and didn't expel it. This might also be part of the assessment. If he expelled it now, he didn't know what impact it would have on the subsequent assessment. However, Lin Moyu didn't relax his vigilance, but monitored it. Once he noticed something was wrong, he could destroy it at any time. After staying for a few seconds, Lin Moyu stepped up again. Every step he took, a light would shoot into his body, and the light spot in his body was gradually growing larger. Lin Moyu didn't seem to react on the surface, but he had already become vigilant. On the 2nd level assessment platform, Lyle was also staring at Lin Moyu, with a thoughtful look in his eyes. Now it could only pin its hopes on Lin Moyu, not to talk nonsense to the outside world. In the clouds, Ellie and the other 4 dragons landed. Green Dragon Gawaz was the first to ask, "Big brother Lyle, did he pass the assessment?" Lyle nodded, "Passed." They had previously been in the clouds and had probably seen the assessment process. It was too far away, and they didn't hear the conversation between Lin Moyu and Lyle. Ellie said, looking at him, "He seems very relaxed." Lyle hummed, "This human is unusual, extraordinary." Gawaz said sullenly, "Why do you say that too? Isn't he just a human? What's so special about him?" "Big brother Lyle, you didn't let him off easy, did you?" Lyle snorted, "Let you off my ass, he's immune to electric elements." The dragons all showed shocked expressions. Ellie said thoughtfully, "No wonder, it's really surprising that such a human would appear in this small world." Lyle said, "Yes, the human race was originally a large race with countless geniuses. But there aren't many like him." Ellie said in a deep voice, "Perhaps, he has a chance." The dragons all looked at Ellie, and Ellie said, "This is just my feeling." Lyle spat out lightning, "I have the same feeling, maybe he has a chance." Gawaz snorted, "If that's the case, that's the best. I'll teach him a good lesson then." Lyle glared at him, "Don't talk big, you might be the one getting taught a lesson by him." "Impossible," Gawaz shouted, not believing it at all. "We'll see then." Lin Moyu walked to the top step by step, passed through the clouds, and arrived at the end of the steps. The end of the steps was also a huge assessment platform. However, after the assessment platform, it was no longer a void, but a palace appeared. The palace was magnificent and huge, over 1,000 meters tall, with an unknown width and depth. Thick clouds blocked its true appearance. Is this the Dragon King Palace? Lin Moyu thought to himself, the name of the dungeon was Dragon King Palace, so could this palace be the Dragon King Palace itself? With one more step, he could step onto the 3rd level assessment platform, but Lin Moyu stopped at this moment. At this time, the light spot in his body had changed from the size of a grain of rice to the size of a fist, dozens of times larger. It still looked harmless, but Lin Moyu didn't believe it was useless. If there was a problem, it should have erupted the moment he stepped onto the assessment platform. Lin Moyu looked solemn and muttered to himself, two choices, what should I do? One was to drive it away. The other was to let it explode in his body. Not knowing what would happen, Lin Moyu was also unsure. This group of light remained in his body, like a ticking time bomb. When it exploded, he didn't know what would happen. Whether it was good or bad, he couldn't say for sure. If he drove it away, Lin Moyu didn't know what impact it would have on the entire assessment. If he was judged to have failed the assessment, how would he complete what Antares had instructed? After thinking for a few seconds, Lin Moyu decided to let the light group stay in his body. The vast soul power had already locked it firmly, and even if there was a problem, he could respond immediately. Moreover, Lin Moyu had confidence in his skills and talents. Wanting to kill him was not easy. Having made a decision, Lin Moyu finally stepped onto the assessment platform. The moment he stepped onto the assessment platform, the entire assessment platform lit up instantly, releasing a dazzling light. A dragon's roar sounded in his ear. What made him feel strange was that he heard the aura of light element from the dragon's roar. Afterward, a large amount of light elements surged towards his body, and the light group in his body became a guiding light, receiving the light elements. The skeleton armor still had no reaction. These incoming lights did not cause any harm to him. Light element resistance limit increased by 1%. Gained light power, experience plus ***. Gained light power, experience plus ***. Suddenly, a large number of prompts popped up. The upper limit of light element resistance has increased. At the same time, a large amount of light elements were converted into soul power, pouring into his soul, bringing him a lot of experience. The conversion speed of light elements was very fast, and with the light group in his body, they had a clear target. The incoming light elements were like surging waves, one wave after another. The soul power rose, and experience increased rapidly. In the constantly popping prompts, there was an occasional piece of information about the increase in the upper limit of light element resistance. Lin Moyu's original resistance to light elements had reached 80%, and now it increased again, moving towards a higher level. First shocked, then understood. This is also a kind of assessment. If it were an ordinary professional, such violent light elements would pour in, quickly converting into soul power. Although the soul power would be greatly enhanced, the soul would still not be able to withstand it. In the light case, the soul would be damaged. In the heavy case, the soul would be directly burst and disappear. But for him, this kind of problem did not exist. His soul upper limit was too high, and had reached the god level. Compared to the upper limit of the soul energy was far from enough. Now these soul powers that poured in madly were like sweet dew to him, extremely nourishing. For ordinary professionals, the growth of the soul and the level are basically the same. How many levels should have how many levels of soul? Like a cup full of water, the size of the cup determines the upper limit. Every time the cup gets bigger, the water inside will be filled immediately. And when there is too much water inside, exceeding the upper limit of the cup, it will overflow. If the cup has a lid, it is sealed. If you keep pouring water into it when it is full, the cup may be burst and cracked. But his cup has long changed from a cup to a bucket, but the water inside is still the amount of a cup. Lin Moyu understood that this kind of assessment was both an opportunity and a disaster. If you can withstand it, it is an opportunity. If you can't withstand it, it is a disaster. For him, this was a rare opportunity, wishing that more soul energy would come in, the more the better. What is poison to others is honey to me. Experience was rising rapidly, faster than he farmed dungeons. Almost in less than a minute, his experience increased by 50%. The resistance to light elements also increased from 80% to 90%. At this time, Lin Moyu found that the incoming light elements seemed to be weakening, knowing that the assessment was coming to an end. After another half a minute, there was a soft sound in his body. The light group that had entered the body earlier burst open. Chapter 603 What if you see it? Experience plus ***. Light element resistance limit increased by 3%. As the light group exploded, the outside light elements seemed to have lost their target and no longer poured in. Lin Moyu also received the last message. At this time, he was glowing with the light of leveling up. In less than 2 minutes, Lin Moyu completed the leap from level 70 to level 71. Lin Moyu took all the soul power that poured in, without missing a single bit. Lin Moyu didn't really value levels, leveling up from level 70 to level 71, if he went to farm dungeons himself, it would probably only take a few days. This wave of assessment only saved him a few days, it's nothing. The key is the increase in light element resistance. His resistance to light elements reached 100%, achieving light element immunity. Following poison element and lightning element immunity, he was also completely immune to light elements. He couldn't help but feel a little excited. Earned it. Lin Moyu thought to himself, this wave was really a big win. The assessment platform was still flashing with faint light. Lin Moyu could clearly feel the light elements dancing happily here. 220, this is an ocean of light elements. Besides light elements, there are no other elements. Other elements have been expelled by inexplicable forces. The power to expel elements must be at least high-level god level. Only the law can do it. Feeling that there was a gaze falling on him. In the center of the assessment platform, a giant dragon glowing all over was looking at him. It was observing Lin Moyu, with a hint of curiosity in its eyes. Lin Moyu was also observing it. It was somewhat different from the dragons he had seen before. Its size was larger than the dragons he had seen, especially its body length, which was astonishing, even exaggerated. He compared it with Leyland, whom he had just met. Its body length was at least twice that of Leyland, and it had a thick, long tail. Its appearance was noticeably different from that of a typical dragon, but it was undoubtedly a dragon. It's very special, Lin Moyu thought to himself. The dragon before him gave Lin Moyu an extremely special feeling, different from other dragons. Little human, you're quite good. The dragon spoke. It didn't show any hostility towards Lin Moyu, and even seemed a bit friendly. Lin Moyu didn't let his guard down. He maintained the necessary politeness in his words, neither humble nor arrogant. Thank you for the compliment. May I ask how to address you? The dragon spat out a ball of light, which dispersed in the air, turning into dust. Then it inhaled, drawing in a large amount of light. So much light element was drawn in that it gathered into a mist, which it then exhaled. Watching the whole process, a phrase popped into Lin Moyu's mind, swallowing clouds and spitting mist. This scene was strangely familiar. The dragon slowly spoke, my name is Holy Light, a divine dragon. And you? It was very polite, and Lin Moyu introduced himself, human Lin Moyu, my class is Undead Saint King. Holy Light swallowed clouds and spat mist again, you were able to absorb all of the soul power from earlier, and even leveled up. It seems your soul level is very high. Level 71, then it will be slightly easier for you to pass my test. Lin Moyu deduced that leveling up in the instance dungeon didn't affect the difficulty of the test. This meant that the difficulty of the test was set before he entered the instance dungeon. Lin Moyu said, may I ask, Holy Light, what is the third trial? Holy Light exhaled another cloud of mist. It seemed to enjoy doing this. The third trial, well, it's actually very simple. Do you see that palace behind me? The palace was extremely large, how could he not see it? He wasn't blind. Holy Light continued, as long as you can enter the palace, you will have passed the test. Enter the palace. Lin Moyu looked over. The palace was very large, at least 1,000 meters tall, and he didn't know how deep it was. The front door of the palace was open, and he could vaguely see the inside. He was currently about 5,000 meters away from the palace. If he flew at his fastest speed, it would take about 6 seconds. However, Lin Moyu had a faster method, 2 seconds would be enough. It was just that Holy Light would definitely stop him. The key issue wasn't getting there, but how to break through Holy Light. Lin Moyu asked, is any method acceptable? Holy Light nodded, yes, any method is acceptable. Lin Moyu said, how much power will you use? Holy Light glanced at Lin Moyu, according to the rules, no more than level 85. But I am a divine dragon, and my strongest ability is defense. Lin Moyu said, is there a time limit? Of course. Considering you are a human, I will make an exception and give you 24 hours. Is that enough? Holy Light was obviously very confident in itself. It felt that Lin Moyu couldn't possibly break through its defense. Lin Moyu also knew that if he really couldn't break through, it wouldn't matter if he had 24 hours, 240 hours, or 2,400 hours. In that case, I'll give it a try. Holy Light exhaled clouds and mist again, you can start whenever you want. It looked nonchalant, full of confidence in itself, which put pressure on Lin Moyu. Lin Mo Yu took a deep breath, knowing that Holy Light, as a divine dragon, was at least level 96 or higher. If it tried its best to stop him, he would have no chance. His only chance was that it could only exert power not exceeding level 85. At the same time, Holy Light had clearly stated that its greatest strength was defense. This meant that it might use its body to block him. And its body, even if it stood still and let Lin Mo Yu hit it, he estimated that he couldn't break through its defense. Lin Mo Yu pondered for a few seconds and had an idea. Surprise is the best chance. There was no air restriction here, Lin Mo Yu could fly. All restrictions had been lifted. All he had to do now was find a way to enter the palace and pass the test. With a thought, a large number of headless horsemen appeared in the air. As soon as the headless horsemen appeared, they launched a charge skill towards Holy Light. At the same time, a headless horseman appeared in front of Lin Mo Yu, and he instantly sat on the headless horseman's warhorse. The headless horseman, carrying Lin Mo Yu, launched a charge skill towards the palace. At a speed of 3,000 meters per second, he charged towards the palace, and it would only take 2 seconds to rush into the palace. Lin Mo Yu was like a stream of light, passing Holy Light, and Holy Light seemed to have no reaction at all. The palace instantly magnified in front of him. After 1.5 seconds, the palace was close at hand. Suddenly, a bright light appeared in front of him, and a barrier-like shield appeared. Crash through it. It was too late to give up now. With a resolute heart, he continued to charge. Taking the barrier as his target, the headless horseman launched its strongest attack. With a loud bang, the barrier remained unmoved. The headless horseman seemed to be severely injured, and a huge rebounding force swept over, throwing it and Lin Mo Yu back together. Lin Mo Yu flew backwards for nearly 1,000 meters before stabilizing himself in the air. The force rebounded by the barrier was about twice the impact force of the headless horseman. This reminded Lin Mo Yu of the Qingqing grassland, which had rebound properties. This barrier also had the same properties. Looking around, the entire test platform was now covered by a barrier. The barrier was like a large bowl inverted over the test platform. The divine dragon Holy Light didn't move at all, just standing there with a playful smile in its eyes. Lin Mo Yu had originally planned to have the headless horseman distract it, and then take the opportunity to rush into the palace. But the divine dragon only used a defensive skill to trap him, and didn't entangle with the headless horseman at all. It didn't even move itself. Lin Mo Yu's heart stirred, and he didn't waste time on it. As long as it didn't move, Lin Mo Yu didn't plan to move it. The headless horsemen turned their targets and flew in all directions. Lin Mo Yu came to the edge of the barrier, placed his hand on it, and sensed the flow of energy within the barrier. This was a barrier generated by skills, different from the barriers of the abyss. It was filled with light elements, and a peculiar aura. After careful sensing, Lin Mo Yu realized that this was the aura of law. Holy Light used the law, combined with light elements, to create this barrier. But it controlled it skillfully. The level of power was very high, but the upper limit of power did not exceed level 85. Lin Mo Yu couldn't say anything about this. Holy Light only said that it wouldn't exceed level 85, not that it wouldn't use the law. With the addition of the law, the barrier in front of him seemed to be level 85, but even a god-level expert might not be able to break it. No wonder Saint Light looked so confident, not afraid of Lin Mo's sudden attack. The aura of law, Lin Mo murmured to himself. Saint Light looked at Lin Mo. Not bad, you actually saw it. His words were filled with confidence, as if saying, even if you see it, so what? You still can't break it. Chapter 604. Defeat Law with Law. Saint Light's tone was very calm, but it sounded a bit harsh to Lin Mo's ears. It had already lazily laid down and closed its eyes. Lin Mo looked at its appearance, without saying a word, but had an idea in his mind. The Headless Knight tried many times. No matter how much power was used, it would eventually be reflected back with twice the power. Saint Light said that its strongest point was defense. It is estimated that this trace of law has the characteristic of reflection. Laws are diverse, with various magical abilities. It is not surprising to have the characteristic of reflection. Putting away the Headless Knight, Lin Mo came to the place closest to the palace gate. At this time, he was only 2 steps away from the entrance of the palace gate, separated by a layer of white barrier, making it difficult to pass. Lin Mo put his hand on the barrier and said softly, "It is said that only law can fight against law. Then let the law break the law." The target was locked on the barrier in front of him, and a drop of green blood essence appeared in his hand. The blood essence of the god of poison, the blood also contains a trace of the aura of law. Although the god of poison is not a high-level god, it has already touched the realm of high-level gods, so its blood contains a trace of law. If there were no accidents, given the god of poison some more time, it would definitely become a high-level god. The law contained in a drop of blood essence is very weak, but the law in the barrier is also not strong. The sacred dragon Saint Light injected extremely limited laws into the barrier in order to control its power. However, the corpse explosion skill can amplify the power of the blood essence by 16 times, and the laws inside will also be amplified. Detonating a drop of blood essence is equivalent to a blow from the god of poison when it was alive. When Lin Mo took out the blood essence of the god of poison, the sacred dragon opened its eyes at the same time. It sensed the aura of law. A look of shock appeared in the huge dragon eyes. Then it saw a flash of green light, and a gap appeared in the barrier it had set up. The gap was filled with green gas, full of poison. Lin Mo walked through the gap as if the poison was nothing, and stepped into the palace gate in 2 steps. Lin Mo stood inside the palace gate and nodded to Saint Light. I passed. Before his eyes flashed, Saint Light had already appeared in front of him. The speed was so fast that Lin Mo couldn't see how it moved at all. This made Lin Mo once again feel vigilant. The other party is after all a sacred dragon, an extremely powerful existence. He secretly held Antares' dragon scale in his hand, and would leave immediately if anything went wrong. Saint Light lowered its head and stared at Lin Mo, its dragon eyes revealing shock and incomprehension. How did you do it? Without waiting for Lin Mo to answer, Saint Light continued, forget it, you don't need to answer, it's impolite to inquire about other people's skills. Although you used external objects just now, I also said that you can use any means. So this level counts as you passing. Now I'll give you 2 choices, one is to continue, and the other is to take the reward and leave. I can tell you what the reward is this time. I can give you 10 soul crystals, each soul crystal contains pure soul power. It can help you improve the level of your soul, and also give you a lot of soul power. According to your level, each soul crystal can allow you to level up by about 1 level. After improving your soul level with soul crystals, it will be much easier for you to become a god in the future. Saint Light's words were full of temptation. According to it, soul crystals are indeed good things. Not only can they improve your level, but they can also enhance your soul level. When the soul level reaches a certain level, it will be much easier to become a god. For normal professionals, it is already a very big temptation. But for Lin Mo, soul crystals are not very useful. His soul has already reached the god level, and coupled with the fact that the 2 skill star cores have been moved into the soul, he has already cleared the path to becoming a god. As long as his level reaches, becoming a god is a matter of course. As for improving soul energy, for Lin Mo, it is also not difficult. As long as he has time, he can brush dungeons more often, and he can reach the god level in less than a year or 2. Lin Mo is not in a hurry about this, he wants to consolidate his foundation more. The more solid the foundation, the broader the future development. It is not advisable to force growth. Lin Mo's requirements for himself are not just to become a god. Lin Mo said, I choose to continue. Saint Light asked in a deep voice, are you sure you don't want to reconsider? Lin Mo shook his head, I have made up my mind. Saint Light didn't say much more. It raised its head and let out a dragon roar. As before, the dragon roar spread out in layers like waves, resounding throughout the dungeon. As the dragon roar sounded, the mist in the palace gradually dispersed, revealing a passage paved with jade. Saint Light said, walk forward along the dragon jade, do not touch the mist on both sides, otherwise you will die. Lin Mo nodded and walked towards the palace. After he entered the palace gate immediately closed. At this time, the clouds in the sky churned, and Ellie, Lai Allen and other dragons landed. Saint Light, big brother, did he pass? Ellie looked at the closed palace gate and already knew the answer, but she was just asking casually. The other dragons were surprised, they came over after hearing the dragon roar. The palace gate is open all year round, once it is closed, it means someone has entered. They usually don't go in, so who else could have gone in but Lin Mo? Saint Light took 2 steps back, revealing the entire palace gate, and also revealing the poisonous aura in front of the gate. A massive green aura only 2 people tall rolled freely, a large amount of light elements surrounded and enveloped it, preventing it from spreading. Saint Light said, Gewaz, take a look. Gawes could see at a glance that the green aura contained poison, and also a trace of law. It took a deep breath towards the poison, and the poison was immediately sucked into its body. A few seconds later, Gawes said, "It is the poison of a poison-type god, and it also contains a trace of law, about level 96. No wonder it can break Saint Light's Big Brother's sacred barrier. After all, Big Brother has to control the power and can only inject a trace of law. It's just strange, how did he unleash the power of the poison-type god?" Saint Light said, "He used the god's blood essence. He seems to have a skill that can amplify the power in the blood essence. Just now it was equivalent to the god's full blow. This human is not simple." Thunder Dragon Lai Allen echoed, "Indeed not simple, he has a 100% immunity to electric elements." Gawes said, "In this case, he may also be immune to poison elements." Saint Light said, "He has also reached 100% immunity to light elements." Ellie was slightly surprised. How could such a terrifying genius be born in such a small world? Could he be the child of the world? Saint Light was noncommittal. Who knows? Alright, let's just complete the task. Gawes's aura suddenly changed. Someone has entered the Dragon King's palace again. One of my clones has been activated. Ellie nodded. I also sensed it. It's not from this world, and it's not a human who came in. Saint Light waved its wings. Go, go, go and do your work. Don't be lazy, otherwise the dragon god will punish you. Don't worry, when have we ever been lazy? The dragons flew into the clouds again and disappeared. Saint Light looked at the closed palace gate. No one has been able to pass the final test for a long time. I wonder how you will do. Then it mocked itself with a laugh. Whether I pass or not is none of my business. It began to exhale clouds of mist again, the mist constantly changing shape, first into the form of an ordinary giant dragon, then its body began to grow larger and longer, eventually completely changing its image. If Lin Moyu were here, he would definitely recognize it at a glance. The final appearance was surprisingly that of the Chinese divine dragon. And Saint Light's current appearance is one of the stages in the transformation. Perhaps after continuous evolution, Saint Light could eventually transform into the appearance of a Chinese divine dragon. Hope filled Saint Light's eyes, full of longing. The passageway underfoot was entirely paved with white jade. This jade emitted a peculiar aura, seemingly containing the power of law, and Lin Moyu could sense immense energy from it. According to Saint Light, this jade is called Dragon Jade, and it must be very precious. To be able to pave the road with Dragon Jade, this palace is obviously very important. Originally, Lin Moyu thought there would be some more tests, and he took the first step with extreme caution. After he cautiously took the first step, the Dragon Jade did not react at all. After walking a few steps like this, Lin Moyu was slightly relieved. But he was still cautious, and released a skeleton berserker to clear the path ahead. The palace was extremely deep, and after walking for tens of thousands of meters, he finally saw the second building in the palace. Chapter 605 Long time no see, Little Antares. The road paved with Dragon Jade came to an end. The mist dissipated, and everything opened up. The second building in the palace came into view. This was a huge round platform, about 100 meters in diameter and 5 meters high, entirely paved with Dragon Jade. Moreover, the Dragon Jade paving the round platform was obviously of higher quality, each piece about a meter long and wide, containing even more astonishing power of law. Lin Moyu had already been shocked by the Dragon Jade before, and he had tried to use the detection skill, but he didn't get any answers. The detection skill also failed to recognize the origin of the Dragon Jade. But the energy within was real, and Lin Moyu wouldn't be mistaken. According to Lin Moyu's understanding of Dragon Jade, every item that could contain the power of law was a mythical item. Any piece of Dragon Jade was priceless. But here it was only used to pave roads and build platforms. Compared to the huge palace, the round platform, although noble, was not considered large. Lin Moyu was about to walk up when a powerful aura descended. His eyes flickered slightly, and a dragon had already appeared on the round platform. Not a giant dragon, but the kind of dragon in Lin Moyu's memory, a Chinese divine dragon. Its body length exceeded 200 meters, coiled on the round platform, its head slightly raised, staring at Lin Moyu. Being stared at by it gave Lin Moyu a creepy feeling, as if he was being targeted by some terrifying existence. He clearly realized that if the other party wanted to kill him, it would only take a thought, without even needing to lift a finger. The difference in strength between the two sides was too great. Lin Moyu found it difficult to tell which was stronger, the dragon in front of him or Antares. Could it be a transcendent? Lin Moyu was certain that it was stronger than half-step transcendents like the Dragon Emperor and the Demon Emperor. There was no comparison between the two sides. The divine dragon stared at Lin Moyu without saying a word, and Lin Moyu also remained silent, keeping quiet. Lin Moyu was not timid, and also stared back at the divine dragon. After a full 10 seconds, the divine dragon's voice slowly sounded, "There is a trace of my clan's scent in your soul." Lin Moyu was shocked and instinctively thought that the divine dragon was talking about the aura left after he killed the dragon clan. But on second thought, he realized that it was not like that. Chinese divine dragon, descendant of the dragon. Lightning flashed in Lin Moyu's mind, and he suddenly thought of a possibility. Before he could speak, the divine dragon's voice came again, "Your ancestors should have had some connection with our dragon clan, and your ancestors' souls and bloodlines were stained with our clan's aura. But too many generations have passed, and the aura in your soul is already very, very weak, almost imperceptible." At this moment, Lin Moyu was 100% certain that what the divine dragon was talking about must be related to his identity before he transmigrated. It was his soul that transmigrated, and the aura it was talking about was also in the soul. Lin Moyu understood many things in an instant. The other party was strong, but in fact, it didn't have any killing intent towards him. The fear he felt was entirely caused by the great difference in strength. Lin Moyu finally spoke, "May I ask how to address you?" The divine dragon did not answer Lin Moyu's words, but continued, "Besides your soul, you also have the aura of my clan on you. It seems you have encountered my clansman." Without any movement from it, Antares' scale in his pocket actually flew out automatically. Lin Moyu didn't know how it did it, this was his life-saving charm. But now he watched helplessly as it flew away. It wasn't that Lin Moyu didn't dare to move, but that he couldn't move. An invisible force bound him, making him unable to move. This was the gap caused by strength, and Lin Moyu realized for the first time that the difference in strength could be so great. Thinking back 2 years ago, when he had just completed his job change and met Bai Yuan, he had never felt this way. The divine dragon in front of him was too terrifying. Lin Moyu felt that this divine dragon should be the dragon god that the giant dragon was talking about. Antares' scale flew to its front, and then began to shine. The divine dragon activated the scale, and Antares' voice came from the scale, "Kid, did you handle it?" Lin Moyu smiled bitterly, "No. So it's you." The divine dragon seemed to remember Antares and spoke. "I'll go." A strange cry came from the scale, "Why are you awake?" The divine dragon chuckled, "Just happened to wake up." 2 golden lights suddenly shot out from its eyes and landed on the scale, and the scale instantly became extremely bright. The dragon's scale shone brightly, and a phantom appeared on it. Lin Moyu recognized it at a glance, it was Antares. He recognized Antares' big head. But the next scene shocked him again. Antares appeared in the phantom, in full view, not just a head. Previously, Lin Moyu had only seen Antares' head, and its body had always been hidden. Now he finally saw it clearly. Antares was also in the form of a Chinese divine dragon. No, it can't be said that they were exactly the same. Compared to the divine dragon in front of him, Antares had a pair of dragon wings similar to those of a giant dragon. It was this pair of dragon wings that made the essential difference between the two. The divine dragon looked majestic, powerful, and full of beauty. Antares also possessed a similar aura, but a pair of dragon wings ruined some of the beauty and were not very coordinated. The divine dragon said, "Long time no see, little Antares." Little Antares. Lin Moyu instantly felt a sense of inexplicable joy. Antares, who had lived for who knows how many years, was actually called Little Antares. Obviously, the divine dragon in front of him was more ancient. Antares didn't refute, but instead said with slight respect, "Long time no see, dragon god." The other party was indeed the dragon god. Lin Moyu was stern in his heart. Moreover, from Antares' words, one could tell that Antares didn't want to encounter the other party. But coincidentally, the dragon god had awakened, one could only say that he had come at the wrong time. Lin Moyu could almost feel that Antares' mood at this moment must be extremely aggrieved. The dragon god said, "Little Antares, so many years have passed, are you still blaming me?" Antares shook his head, "I dare not." Hee hee. The dragon god laughed, "It's not that you don't blame, but that you don't dare." Antares shook his head again. Then I won't blame you. The meaning was simply saying, you are the dragon god, you are more awesome, whatever you say is whatever. The dragon god didn't continue to dwell on this issue, but instead said, you let this little human guy into the Dragon King Hall, is it to retrieve your 2 dragon balls, right? Antares generously admitted, that's right. The dragon god asked, 16 dragon balls, how many have you found? 10, counting the 2 in your possession, that makes 12. Antares didn't hide anything and told the truth. The dragon god asked, do you know where the remaining 4 are? Antares shook his head, I have guesses, but I'm not sure yet. The dragon god sighed, I had no choice back then. At this time, Antares' large ears in the illusion suddenly closed, obviously he didn't want to listen to the dragon god's explanation. The dragon god didn't continue to speak, but just let out a long sigh. I'll have this little human guy bring back your dragon balls. Perhaps we won't meet again in the future, take care of yourself. Antares' ears twitched, obviously he heard it, but he didn't say anything. Lin Moyu heard the unusualness in the words, obviously there was an unusual relationship between the two. The light of the scales gradually dissipated, and flew back into Lin Moyu's pocket. Then Lin Moyu felt a lightness all over his body, and the restraints disappeared. At this time, Lin Moyu heard a long sigh. It was like an old man's sigh, with a bit of reluctance. Lin Moyu felt a lightness all over his body, the restraints disappeared, and he regained his freedom. 2 beads appeared in front of the dragon god, they were Antares' dragon balls, and the dragon balls still had Antares' aura. The 2 dragon balls flew into Lin Moyu's hands. Lin Moyu quickly took out a box to pack them, and then put them into his storage space. At this time, he couldn't hesitate. What if the dragon god went back on his word? He couldn't beat him anyway, what else could he do besides stare blankly? No matter what the reason, getting the dragon balls was one of the best outcomes. Wang Jiao Jiao, thank you, dragon god. Lin Moyu sincerely thanked him. The dragon god said in a deep voice, this was originally Antares' thing, you take it back and return it to Antares. Lin Moyu solemnly promised, I will hand it over to Antares personally. The dragon god said, I can see that you and Antares have a good relationship, you should be his friend. Lin Moyu generously admitted, yes, I am his friend. The dragon god let out a soft laugh, little Antares actually has friends, it seems you are very special. Lin Moyu didn't say anything, he knew that the relationship between the dragon god and Antares must be extraordinary. It's just that the dragon god didn't say it, and Antares didn't say it, so Lin Moyu was also tactful and didn't ask. Some things can be asked, some things can't be asked. Asking might cost you your life. Many secrets are, the less you know, the longer you live. Although Lin Moyu had a strong curiosity, he wasn't a fool, and wouldn't do anything that would get him killed. Lin Moyu changed the subject, Dragon God, what is my next assessment? The Dragon God shook his head, no need, you have passed the assessment. Lin Moyu was slightly stunned, he had already prepared for a big battle, how could the assessment have passed? There must be something fishy, it's probably related to Antares. Chapter 606 Old Man is in a bad mood. In the Dragon King Hall dungeon, the real master is the Dragon God. Lin Moyu guessed that the rules were most likely set by it. If it said the assessment was passed, then it was passed. Lin Moyu wouldn't be stupid enough to say, I must be assessed. The Dragon God sighed again, like an elderly old man, with a hint of kindness, little guy, I hope you and Antares can get along well, he may only have you as a friend. Lin Moyu said, he also raised a bird. The Dragon God chuckled, is it called Luan bird? Lin Moyu nodded, that's right. The Dragon God laughed, laughing very helplessly, he's still blaming me. Lin Moyu didn't speak, firmly keeping his mouth shut. These things, no matter how curious he was, he couldn't ask, it was too gossipy. The Dragon God's body glowed slightly, and even the jade platform under him glowed. Then a fist-sized crystal appeared in front of the Dragon God. The crystal was carved into the shape of a dragon, and there seemed to be liquid flowing inside, emitting colorful light, like a rainbow, very beautiful. This is the final reward for passing the Dragon King Hall. In history, there have been very few people who have passed all the assessments of the Dragon King Hall. You are very good. Perhaps in the future you will have the opportunity to break the shell and see a wider world. The dragon-shaped crystal flew to Lin Moyu, and Lin Moyu took it with both hands, thank you, Dragon God. The dragon god shook his head. This is what you deserve, I hope you can do me a favor. Lin Moyu immediately responded, please instruct me, dragon god. Help me give this to Antares. Another dragon ball emerged. Lin Moyu's 057 eyes shrank, it wasn't Antares's dragon ball. The dragon ball had the dragon god's aura, this was the dragon god's dragon ball. Lin Moyu didn't know what dragon balls were used for, but he knew that dragon balls were very important to the dragon clan. Otherwise, Antares wouldn't have people constantly searching for dragon balls. And the dragon ball belonging to the dragon god in front of him was even a circle larger than Antares's dragon ball, and seemed to be of a higher level. Lin Moyu found a box to pack the dragon ball. Dragon god, is there anything you need me to convey to Antares? The dragon god pondered for a few seconds, help me say sorry. Lin Moyu nodded lightly. At this moment, the dragon god's aging feeling was even more obvious. Moreover, Lin Moyu felt that the dragon god seemed to be saying goodbye, it seemed to be leaving. The dragon god lowered his head in a sigh, and slowly closed his eyes. At the moment he closed his eyes, Lin Moyu saw a tear. The tear fell on the dragon jade platform, making a crisp sound. An emotion called sadness was spreading. The dragon god was too strong, its emotional changes also affected the entire space. Even the elements and laws in the space had emotions. Lin Moyu was also affected, he felt that the dragon god's heart seemed to have many bitterness and helplessness. That single tear contained too much. This feeling made him very uncomfortable, sorrow stirring up many of Lin Moyu's memories. He had transmigrated, losing everything from his previous life. In his previous life, he was an orphan, without relatives, but he did have a few close friends. They used to drink together and boast, scenes of various bragging sessions resurfacing. Memories he thought he had forgotten were now so clear. Memories always existed, and even if he deliberately avoided thinking about them, they would eventually burst forth. The images in his mind shifted from his previous life to his current one. Today, he had a grandmother, an older sister, and close relatives. In these past few years, he had truly enjoyed having a family. Then came the helplessness and sorrow of his grandmother's passing. And also his parents, whom he had never met. Sometimes he resented his parents. He had thought about searching, but ultimately gave up, not wanting to search anymore. The emotions were complex, and Lin Moyu usually kept them locked away in the deepest part of his heart, never thinking about them, never touching them. But now, the emotions he didn't want to touch were being drawn out by the dragon god's emotions. Lin Moyu's mood plummeted, becoming extremely bad, even vaguely irritable. This was something that had never happened before. The mist began to thicken, enveloping the dragon jade platform, enveloping Lin Moyu. His eyes were filled with thick fog, a vast expanse of white, unable to see anything. Sounds disappeared, and the surroundings became incredibly quiet. Like the changing of seas and fields, the space constantly shifted, and the thick fog abruptly vanished. A roar echoed in his ears, the sound of a meteor falling to earth and exploding. When Lin Moyu regained his senses, he had already left the instance and was standing on the meteorite continent once more. He stood still, allowing the shockwaves of the explosion to wash over him, without any reaction. He didn't want to, he hadn't been able to emerge from the sorrowful emotions, and his mood was terrible. Lin Moyu tried hard to adjust his emotions, this feeling of being out of control was extremely unpleasant. But no matter how hard he tried, it was difficult to control. It could only be said that the dragon god's power was too strong, so strong that Lin Moyu couldn't control his own emotions. Sadness, annoyance, eventually evolved into rage. A spatial fluctuation emanated from the distance. Lin Moyu raised his head and looked, seeing the open space-time channels. More than 10 space-time channels appeared simultaneously, the sky looking as if it had been punched with black holes. One by one, powerful Dragon Clan Dragon Kings were walking out of the space-time channels. As soon as they appeared, they locked onto Lin Moyu, their gazes filled with excitement and killing intent. The Dragon King's immense aura swept across the heavens and the earth, and the air became viscous. The Dragon Kings knew they couldn't stay here for long, and could only exist for a few minutes under full combat. Kill. They didn't waste a single moment, directly attacking Lin Moyu. At this moment, Lin Moyu's sleeves fluttered, and killing intent soared. Since he couldn't control his emotions, then he wouldn't control them anymore, he might as well vent them properly. It was perfect that these Dragon Clan Dragon Kings had delivered themselves to his door. I'm in a bad mood. Lin Moyu muttered in his heart, and the undead army appeared. The source runes on the back of both hands shone brightly at the same time, and the strong soldiers and gathering power skills were activated simultaneously. Skill: Summon Skeleton King. Skill: Undead Gaze. Skill: Curse of Aging. Skill: Poisonous Starburst. One skill after another was unleashed like a string of firecrackers, regardless of whether they were useful or not, all of them were used. At this moment, Lin Moyu didn't control himself, didn't calculate which skills were useful, and which skills had a good effect. The sky suddenly darkened, blocking out the sun. Dark clouds gathered, the wind howled, and the shadow of the undead world descended. This change made the Dragon Kings feel terrified. What kind of skill was this? Why was there such a grand momentum? A gate burning with raging flames appeared in the air, and the eye of the undead emerged. The flames of the eye of the undead were unprecedentedly blazing, and the power of the skill was also unprecedentedly powerful. The eye of the undead overlooked the entire field, and more than a dozen Dragon Kings simultaneously felt severe pain in their souls, screaming in agony. Compared to the Dragon Kings, those top-tier Dragon Clan professionals didn't even have a chance to scream, falling silently. Undead Gaze wasn't a single target skill, it possessed extremely strong group attack capabilities. Under the activation of the Strong Soldier's skill, the damage caused by Undead Gaze increased by a full 500%, and all existences below the god level were instantly killed. The Dragon Kings were terrified, in an instant their souls were wounded, and a large number of Dragon Clan war generals died. A skeleton throne appeared in the air, and the Skeleton King slowly rose. The Skeleton King, composed of 90,000 skeletons, under the blessing of the Strong Soldier's skill, not only broke through the god level limit, but also reached the peak of level 92, very close to level 93. Skill: Godslayer. Skill: Elemental Riot. A sword was slashed out, targeting all the Dragon Kings. The Dragon Kings were all terrified, they felt the threat of death. One by one, they roared and activated their bloodlines, unleashing their most powerful strength. At this moment, they no longer wanted to kill Lin Moyu, they only wanted to save their lives. They never thought that Lin Moyu would be so strong, completely exceeding their expectations. Sword light flashed on their bodies, and at the same time, elements exploded violently. The Dragon Kings were blasted away amidst screams, their bodies covered in blood. Undead Gaze had wounded their souls. The Skeleton King's two skills directly severely injured their physical bodies as well. The Dragon Clan's proud defense didn't play any role at all. Before they could escape, the Headless Horsemen had already charged in. The 30,000 Headless Horsemen army surrounded them from all directions, not giving them any chance to escape. The Headless Horsemen unleashed their charge skills, and with the enhancement of the Strong Soldier's skill, the charge skills could also cause some damage to the Dragon Kings. The immense impact made it impossible for the Dragon Kings to stand firm. The Dragon Kings roared repeatedly, pushing their bloodline power to the limit. Giant dragon phantoms emerged, stimulating their potential, and counter-attacking desperately. Lin Moyu sneered, and took out the essence blood of the god of poison. Soul Lock locked onto all the Dragon Kings. Skill: Corpse Explosion. Chapter 607, You're Out of Luck. Clusters of green gas bloomed in the air like beautiful flowers. Lin Moyu locked onto them with his soul, and the corpse explosion skill crossed space, directly exploding on their bodies, impossible to avoid. Terrified screams echoed through the heavens and the earth. The Dragon Kings were corroded by the green gas poison, their bodies festering, and in the blink of an eye, they turned into thick pus. They couldn't withstand the attacks of the god of poison at all. The god of poison's attacks possessed a trace of the power of law, a power that could only be touched by higher gods. The Dragon Kings were poisoned to death in terror. Only one Dragon King, with an angry dragon roar, broke through the poisonous gas and charged towards Lin Moy. Intermediate Dragon King. Lin Moy immediately judged that this was an intermediate Dragon King, at least level 93. Only an intermediate Dragon King could possibly survive in the poison. It was also the strongest of the Dragon Kings who came this time. It crashed through the Headless Knights blocking its path, and charged towards Lin Moy. Lin Moy's heart stirred, and the Skeleton King instantly appeared in front of it, swinging its sword. The Dragon King held a long spear in its hand, whistling as it thrust out, colliding with the Skeleton King's giant sword. In the loud noise, space twisted, setting off ripples. The Skeleton King flew backwards, its power inferior to the intermediate Dragon King. After the intermediate Dragon King shook off the Skeleton King, it instantly arrived in front of Lin Moi. Before it could attack, it felt another burst of intense pain in its soul. The eye of the undead in the air was gazing at it, all attacks focused on it. At the same time, soul flames danced on Lin Moi's palm, strengthening the soul attack. The soul attack interrupted its movements, and then a flash of sword light appeared before its eyes. It retreated in horror, blood splattering, a huge gash cut into its body. Lin Moi held a sharp long sword in his hand, and seeing it dodge, he couldn't help but say, "What a pity." The soul attack interrupted it. Lin Moi attacked. Originally there was a great possibility of cutting it in two with one sword. Unexpectedly, it reacted so quickly that it dodged. It was only wounded, not killed. The power-gathering skill pushed Lin Moi's attributes to the limit. Although Lin Moi's attributes were still not at the god level, the extra damage from the strong soldier's skill was enough to cause fatal damage to the Dragon King. As it flew back, Lin Moi put away his long sword and aimed his fingers at it. Skill: Bone Spear. Spears flew out with powerful tearing force. Also because of the strong soldier's skill, the power of the bone spear was huge. The spears were too fast, reaching 20,000 meters per second. The Dragon King was so close. At this distance, the Dragon King had no chance to dodge. Bang 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 sounded non-stop, bone spears constantly hitting the Dragon King. The spear's power was great, each strike making it tremble, as if it was about to be torn apart. It couldn't imagine how a mere level 71 human professional could possess such powerful combat power. Of the dozens of top dragon professional who came, more than 10 Dragon Kings, only it was still alive. At the same time, it also realized that with Lin Moi's power, if Lin Moi became a god, perhaps only the Dragon Emperor could fight him. A sense of fear arose spontaneously. Lin Moi's power completely exceeded its knowledge. I want to escape back, I can't let the clansmen come to die. At least a high-level Dragon King is needed to kill him. It knew that unless a high-level Dragon King or the Dragon Emperor personally took action, otherwise it would be sending them to their deaths no matter how many came. Lin Moi's skills were all group attack skills, killing one was no different from killing 100. It used all its strength, stimulating its whole body's bloodline. The giant dragon phantom merged with it. Then, it turned around and fled. Just flew out less than 100 meters, the soul suddenly had severe pain. Countless dense arrows appeared on the soul body. The Skeleton King changed back to the undead army. 30,000 skeleton marksmen simultaneously used their skills. Skill: Soul Assassination. The level 70 skeleton marksmen upgraded their equipment. The former Soul Lock passive skill was upgraded to Soul Assassination. Inherited the characteristics of Soul Lock, and also possessed Soul Attack ability. Soul Attack ability was definitely a terrible ability, impossible to defend against. The human, dragon, and demon races did not have good ways to deal with it. The soul body constantly transmitted severe pain, making it impossible for the Dragon King's will to concentrate. Undead Gaze was launched again. The soul was ignited, burning fiercely. Soul Flame was also launched at the same time. Miserable screams resounded through the heavens and the earth again. The Dragon King was unable to think. Thinking became extremely chaotic. The soul was really too painful. Under the continuous soul attacks, its consciousness became weaker and weaker, and eventually completely lost. It fell from the air, fell heavily on the ground, and remained forever on Meteorite Continent. The skeleton berserker came over with an axe, split open its head, and took out the dragon crystal. He also collected the remaining Dragon King dragon crystals. Those low-level Dragon Kings who died under the poison, left nothing but dragon crystals. A total of 13 dragon crystals, 12 of which were low-level dragon crystals, and 1 intermediate dragon crystal. The intermediate dragon crystal was obviously a circle larger than the low-level dragon crystal, from a rhombus to a hexagon. The energy contained in it was also much more. Lin Moi felt a lot better after venting. He understood that some emotions were useless to suppress, they would explode one day. It was good to be able to vent this time. However, he still didn't like that uncontrollable feeling. Consider yourself unlucky, Lin Moi said lightly. He took out the creation staff, absorbed all the dragon crystals, and erased the last traces of the Dragon Kings in the world. The light of the life core on the creation staff became brighter and brighter. A whirlwind seemed to sweep across Meteorite Continent. The whirlwind brought a large number of elements. Lin Moi clearly felt this element, and could even see it with enough soul power. Like the light element, it carried a sacred aura, and even more of a life aura. That feeling was like Zhu Qingliu was performing a god-level healing technique. Lin Moi called this element the life element. As the life core continued to recover, it also absorbed the life element. The life element was the foundation of its power. Seeking fresh flowers. Lin Moi could feel that the life core was recovering. The creation staff was shining, corresponding to the glory of the sergeant badge. After killing more than a dozen dragon kings, the purple light on the sergeant badge was unprecedentedly strong. The fourth general star directly appeared, and after waiting for a few seconds, the fifth general star also appeared. Even the phantom of the sixth general star appeared for a few seconds before disappearing. Lin Moi only needed to kill 2 god-level enemies to become a 4-star god general. To become a 5-star god general, he had to kill 8 more god-level enemies on the basis of a 4-star god general. To become a 6-star god general, he needed to kill 16. Now he killed 13 in one breath. Not only did he become a 5-star god general in one fell swoop, but he also had 3 more. Now as long as he kills 13 more dragon kings or demons, he can become a 6-star god general. Currently in the human world, except for the missing Emperor D, and the soon-to-be resurrected righteous god, no one has become a 6-star god general. 0. It could be said that Lin Moyu was already standing at the pinnacle of the human world. The light of the creation staff became increasingly intense, and the radiance of the military badge also illuminated the area. Simultaneously, Lin Moyu experienced the light of leveling up. Having slaughtered 13 dragon kings, he not only gained military stars but also a large amount of experience. Lin Moyu directly advanced from level 71 to level 72. Traveling thousands of miles to deliver experience and military ranks, Lin Moyu couldn't help but exclaim, "What good dragons!" After all 13 dragon crystals were completely absorbed, the core of life had recovered to about 60%. The outer shell already had a preliminary form. Lin Moyu sensed the aura of laws. The core of life was entwined with the aura of laws, which was the law of life. One of the hallmarks of a mythic-grade weapon is possessing the power of laws. The creation staff was like that, containing the power of laws. Obtaining it would make it possible to comprehend the law of life and become the god of life. To become the god of life, destroying a small world, how crazy is that? Compared to relying on external forces, Lin Moyu had more faith in his own power. Taking out Antares' dragon scale, with a slight movement of his mental power, he activated the dragon scale. Space twisted and fluctuated, and the dragon scale took Lin Moyu away from Meteorite Continent. Plans can't keep up with changes. When he first arrived at Meteorite Continent, he had planned to first enter the Dragon King's Halt dungeon, help Antares retrieve the Dragon Balls, and then go to the Primal Secret Realm. Lin Moyu hoped to make the 2 skills strengthen troops and gather strength his own in the Primal Secret Realm. But he didn't have a 100% certainty. So he went to the Dragon King's Halt dungeon first, in case he needed to use these 2 skills in the Dragon King's Halt dungeon, he wouldn't be so passive. It was just that the changes were too fast. What happened in the Dragon King's Hall exceeded Lin Moyu's expectations. He not only retrieved Antares' 2 Dragon Balls but also obtained a Dragon Ball belonging to the Dragon God. Lin Moyu promised the Dragon God to bring the Dragon Ball back to Antares. To avoid accidents, Lin Moyu decided to go back first. As for the Primal Secret Realm, there was no need to rush. Chapter 608, Them. Mere hybrids. The teleportation ended, and Lin Moyu saw Antares' huge dragon eyes. Antares' eyes were somewhat complex, an emotion that was hard to describe. Lin Moyu asked, "What are you thinking about?" Antares asked back, "Why are you back?" "I got what you wanted. To avoid any complications, I came back first," Lin Moyu said, taking out the 2 boxes containing the Dragon Balls. The Dragon Balls lay quietly in the boxes. Antares didn't rush to take them, but instead said, "You've killed quite a few dragons again." It was clear that Antares' mood was somewhat low. Lin Moyu could roughly guess the reason. "When I left the dungeon, many dragons came to kill me, and I killed them in self-defense." "Were there any dragon kings?" Antares asked. Lin Moyu nodded. 13 low-level dragon kings, 1 mid-level dragon king, and a group of dragon generals above level 80. Antares glanced at Lin Moyu and said nothing. It opened its mouth and sucked in the 2 Dragon Balls. Within the thick fog that shrouded Antares' body year-round, there was a rumbling sound, lightning and thunder, and some kind of change was taking place inside. Lin Mo Yu took out another box. Dragon God asked me to give this to you, and also asked me to bring you a message, by the way. Antares put on an indifferent look. What is it? What kind of words can come out of its mouth? Lin Mo Yu handed the box over. See for yourself. Antares seemed a little hesitant and didn't take the box. Lin Mo Yu said with a bit of teasing, "You're not scared, are you?" Antares snorted. "What's there for me to be afraid of? It can't kill me." At this time, it changed its self-reference to, "I." Previously it was always, "this sovereign." Just from this change, Lin Mo Yu could feel that Antares' heart was actually very restless. But Lin Mo Yu didn't expose it, but used a trick to give it a way out. "Since you're not afraid, then take a look." Antares also followed the way out, as if he had fallen for Lin Mo Yu's trick. "I'll look, who's afraid of who?" The box was opened, and Antares trembled when it saw what was in the box. Then its huge head began to shake uncontrollably, its eyes full of disbelief. This is. Its emotions were extremely agitated, but it couldn't say a complete sentence. Antares' emotions were somewhat out of control. Lin Mo Yu watched it quietly, without saying a word. After waiting for a while, Antares calmed down slightly. "What does it want you to bring over?" Lin Mo Yu said. Dragon God said, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." These 3 words were like a bolt from the blue hitting Antares' head, shocking Antares. Antares suddenly raised its head and let out a shocking dragon roar. Terrifying energy spread, and the earth cracked. The entire ancient battlefield was shaking, and all the monsters inside, including the world boss, were trembling. Antares' horror was fully displayed at this moment. Lin Mo Yu still didn't speak, didn't interrupt Antares, and let it roar enough. It knew that Antares was venting, just like himself before. It's better to vent it out than to hold it in your heart. Several minutes later, Antares finally calmed down. Lin Mo Yu clearly saw a tear in the corner of Antares' eye. The tear didn't fall, and it was instantly erased by its powerful force. Lin Mo Yu didn't expose it, but just watched it quietly. After waiting for a while, Antares seemed to have returned to its usual calm, and opened its mouth to swallow the dragon god's dragon ball into its belly. It looked at Lin Mo Yu. "Don't ask about the things between me and it, I won't say even if you ask." Lin Mo Yu naturally understood that this was Antares' private matter, and he wouldn't be so gossipy. Lin Mo Yu said, "Then can I ask something else?" "Yes. For the sake of you bringing the dragon ball back to me, I will say everything I can say." Antares' mood obviously hadn't fully recovered, still referring to itself as, "I." Lin Mo Yu said, "I saw a few dragons in the Dragon King's Hall dungeon. They claimed to be elemental dragons and controlled some elements. At the same time, they called the dragons here lowly things. Can you tell me the reason for this?" Antares looked at Lin Mo Yu and pondered for a moment. "If it were someone else, I definitely wouldn't say." Lin Mo Yu smiled. "If it were someone else, I definitely wouldn't ask." "Who made you my friend?" Lin Mo Yu's words seemed to hit Antares' heart. The word friend was particularly important in Antares' heart at this moment. Antares trembled almost imperceptibly. "What you call the dragons are actually nothing in front of our real dragons. The dragon clan has strict levels. The highest is called the dragon god, who is the king of all dragons. The so-called Dragon King's Hall dungeon actually refers to the dragon god. It's just that the dragon god usually doesn't sit in the dungeon. It has too many things to do. Most of the time, it's just a puppet in the dungeon. I don't know what's going on this time, it's such a coincidence." Lin Mo Yu said in a low voice. Dragon God said, "It was a whim, a feeling in its heart." Antares oed, "The old guy's realm is very high, it is indeed possible. I'll continue, listen carefully, I'll only say it once. The dragon god is the king of the dragon clan. It possesses the bloodline of the ancestral dragon and has restored the bloodline of the ancestral dragon to a very high degree. Its strength is invincible. Below it, there are 2 types of dragons, pure-blooded dragons and mixed-blooded dragons. The ultimate goal of all mixed-blood dragons is to evolve towards pure-blood dragons, and the goal of pure-blood dragons is to evolve towards the progenitor dragon, Those elemental dragons you saw in the dungeon are mixed-blood dragons, Lin Mo Yu understood somewhat. Elemental dragons were mixed-blood dragons, and their evolutionary direction was towards pure-blood dragons, purifying their own bloodlines and activating their bloodline power. The holy dragons he saw later already possessed some characteristics of pure-blood dragons, their bodies evolving from short and stout towards slender. Antares, needless to say, was definitely more than just a pure-blood dragon, probably possessing progenitor dragon bloodline as well. From its words, Lin Moyu faintly sensed its disdain for pure-blood dragons, even mentioning the dragon god's progenitor dragon bloodline with an equal attitude. Lin Moyu kept Antares' words in mind, while constantly paying attention to Antares' expression. He could analyze a lot of information from its expression. Lin Moyu saw that the disdain in Antares' eyes grew stronger. Its tone also changed accordingly. As for those dragons in this world, they are just mongrels, the lowest of the low, not even considered lesser dragons. Its tone was filled with deep contempt. Lin Moyu asked, but there are also members of the dragon race with ancestral bloodlines, and it is said that their dragon emperor also possesses an ancestral bloodline. Antares sneered repeatedly, bullshit ancestral bloodline, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a pure-blood idiot who died while awakening the progenitor dragon bloodline. Then it exploded, and some of its flesh and blood exploded into a certain world, and was accidentally eaten by a primitive monster in that world. Then those monsters mutated, they inherited a trace of pure-blood dragon bloodline, and called themselves the dragon race. The so-called dragon emperor is just someone with a slightly purer bloodline. It will never reach the transcendent god level in its lifetime, half-step transcendent god is the limit, the bloodline limitation is right there. And now you know where those dragons came from, right? How could Lin Moyu not understand now? So that's how the dragon race of this world came to be. No wonder they looked so strange, different from the dragons Lin Moyu had seen. When he had just awakened his class, he had seen dragons, and they were indeed very different from the dragon race. The long-standing question was finally answered correctly, giving him a feeling of understanding the world. But a new question arose again, the elemental dragons I saw in the dungeon don't seem to be very high level. Antares said, those are all puppet clones they made, did you think their real bodies would enter the dungeon? Let me tell you something else, in our dragon race, even the worst mixed blood dragon is at the god level at birth, and becomes a high god level upon adulthood. This refers to those idiots who don't cultivate at all, and can achieve this just by sleeping 4.7. If they can cultivate a little, reaching the transcendent god level is not difficult. Lin Moyu was horrified. Without cultivation, just by sleeping, they can sleep to the high god level. That's the level that can drive the laws. It's not difficult to become a transcendent god level with a little cultivation. And this is still the worst mixed blood dragon, what about the stronger mixed blood dragons? Or pure blood dragons, or even awakening the progenitor dragon bloodline? The power of the dragon race had far exceeded his imagination. In that case, the so-called dragon emperor here is really nothing, no wonder Antares is so disdainful. In this case, his own human race doesn't seem to be anything either. Suddenly, Lin Moyu trembled slightly, realizing that he was wrong. That's not right. Leyland once said that the human race is a great race, with many geniuses. The human race in our world is not good, it doesn't mean that all human races are not good. And the human race in our world is not completely useless. At least transcendent gods have appeared in the last era, although they cannot be compared with real dragons, but at least there is a chance. And in this era, there is me. Chapter 609. If the old guy doesn't give it to you, I'll insist on giving it to you. Lin Moyu was full of confidence in himself. If others can't do it, it doesn't mean he can't. After Antares said a bunch of things, its mood also calmed down a lot, and it returned to its previous lazy appearance. Lin Moyu asked, then what about the abyss demons? Where did they come from? Antares shook its head, I won't say. Lin Moyu chuckled, don't you know? Antares laughed contemptuously, don't try to use reverse psychology on me, it's useless. I was just giving you face just now, don't take yourself too seriously. Lin Moyu didn't care about Antares' words, I still think you don't know. Antares snorted and said nothing more. Lin Moyu said, if you don't know, just say you don't know. Anyway, I won't force you to say it. I can't beat you, and I can't scold you, right? Antares turned its head, closed its eyes, and ignored this guy. However, after Lin Moyu said this, the last trace of depression was swept away. Antares completely gave up, looking like it didn't care what you said. Anyway, it just wouldn't answer. Lin Moyu teased it a few times and didn't ask any further. Antares' emotions had recovered, the goal had been achieved, so there was no need to continue asking. Lin Moyu said, help me take a look, what is my reward? I can't figure it out. Lin Moyu's words aroused Antares' interest. Antares was also a little curious about the reward for the Dragon King Palace dungeon. After all, it had never presided over the Dragon King Palace, and the rewards were not fixed, but depended on each person's level and class. There were too many good things in the 29 dragon race, too many to count. And for some existences, many things could be made by themselves. Back then, when they established the Dragon King Palace dungeon for some reason, they prepared a large number of treasures. This time, Lin Moyu met the Dragon God, who was the king of the dragon race and had the highest authority. Antares couldn't guess what reward he would give Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu took out the dragon-shaped crystal. Antares' eyes widened and it let out a low roar. A dragon soul crystal, the old guy actually gave it to you. What is the dragon soul crystal for? Lin Moyu looked at the dragon-shaped crystal, watching the colorful liquid slowly flowing in the crystal. The colorful liquid didn't look like much, but in Lin Moyu's eyes, it was like a vast ocean, endless. The dragon god didn't say its name. Lin Moyu only knew that this thing was called the dragon soul crystal through Antares' mouth. As for what it was for and how to use it, he still didn't know anything. But through Antares' reaction, Lin Moyu knew that this thing was definitely not an ordinary item. Thinking about it, for existences of the dragon god's level, how could they take out ordinary items? Antares said, a dragon soul crystal, it is very difficult to create, and there are not many in our dragon race. You saw the liquid in the dragon soul crystal, right? It's called dragon soul liquid, and it's gathered from our dragon race's soul power. With the dragon soul crystal, you can strengthen the soul level. And it is an increase without any sequelae. And the crystal that holds the dragon soul liquid is called the dragon crystal, which contains a large number of laws. A long-term contact with the dragon crystal can make it easier for you to comprehend the laws. Dragon soul liquid strengthens the soul, and dragon crystal speeds up the comprehension of laws. Both are rare treasures. No matter how strong external objects are, no matter how good the equipment is, it is not as good as being strong yourself. The dragon soul crystal is indeed a very good thing, very much in line with Lin Moyu's taste. While Antares was speaking, the dragon soul crystal had already flown from Lin Moyu's hand and came in front of Antares. Antares stared at the dragon soul liquid in the dragon soul crystal. Well, it's 7-colored dragon soul liquid, the old guy really thinks highly of you. Lin Moyu asked, is there anything special about this? Antares snorted softly. Dragon soul crystals also have high and low quality, and the effects are very different. The worst dragon soul crystal has 3 colors of liquid inside, which means that the soul power inside comes from mixed blood dragons, which is mixed and impure, and has the worst effect. A better one has 5 colors, and the soul power is gathered from pure blood dragons. What the old guy gave you is a 7-colored dragon soul crystal, which already has a trace of progenitor dragon aura, and is considered a top-level dragon soul crystal. The 7-colored dragon soul crystal is also the best dragon soul crystal that our dragon race will send out. As for the top 9-colored dragon soul crystal, it will not be sent out. Lin Moyu asked, why? Antares chuckled, think for yourself. With your intelligence, you can definitely figure it out. Lin Moyu asked on instinct, having already guessed the reason. Who would give away their most precious treasure? Of course, they'd keep it for themselves. Since dragon soul crystals can enhance the soul, help comprehend laws, and are extremely difficult to create with limited quantities. The best course of action is to keep them for one's descendants and clan members, not to give them away. Antares suddenly chuckled, I know what you're thinking, but you're definitely wrong. Lin Moyu rolled his eyes at Antares, feeling that this guy had learned some bad habits and started teasing him. Antares' gaze remained fixed on the dragon soul crystal. I can't tell you the exact reason, but it's definitely not what you think. It's not that simple. The old guys aren't willing to take out the best 9-colored dragon soul crystal, but I insist on giving it to you. Antares exhaled a breath of dragon breath, controlling it into a thin line that surrounded the dragon soul crystal. The dragon soul crystal began to sparkle, bursting with brilliant light. A brilliant rainbow rose into the air, with countless dragons seemingly flying and swimming within it, emitting waves of dragon roars. Lin Moyu could feel an immense soul energy seething. The soul energy was so vast that it transformed from intangible to tangible, eventually becoming liquid. This was dragon soul liquid. Each drop of dragon soul liquid weighed a ton, containing an astonishing amount of soul power. This was formed from pure dragon souls, and creating dragon soul liquid required a massive amount of soul energy. So, Antares' claim that it was difficult to create was absolutely true. Antares continuously spewed out dragon breath, containing its soul power, injecting it into the dragon soul crystal. After a moment, a magical scene unfolded. Above the 7-colored rainbow, a black color suddenly appeared. The 7-colored rainbow became 8-colored. Red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, violet, and black. 8-colored dragon soul crystal. Lin Moyu was secretly shocked that Antares had actually enhanced the quality of the dragon soul crystal. It had used its own soul power to forcibly improve the quality of the dragon soul crystal. Lin Moyu realized that his previous guess was probably correct, that Antares was definitely not just a pureblood dragon. It must possess the bloodline of the ancestral dragon, otherwise, it wouldn't be able to improve the quality of the dragon soul crystal. Since 7 colors were already top tier, and 9 colors were not given away, it meant that creating 9-colored dragon soul crystals was extremely difficult. Yet Antares had done it, single-handedly raising the quality of the 7-colored dragon soul crystal. After the 8th color appeared, Antares also became cautious, its soul energy output becoming incredibly gentle. What was once like a raging river had now turned into a trickling stream, injecting into the dragon soul crystal drop by drop. After a full day, the dragon soul crystal still hadn't changed. Antares continued to inject soul power, while using the laws it controlled to transform the dragon soul crystal. Lin Moyu wasn't anxious, waiting patiently, knowing that fine work takes time. He wasn't idle either, starting to summon skeletons and headless knights. Having reached level 72, he naturally had to replenish his undead legion. At level 72, he could summon another Lich General, bringing the number of Lich Generals to 52. The summoning space also increased by 200, reaching 2,800. The total number of the undead legion reached 145,600. Headless Knights, Skeleton Berserkers, Skeleton Archmages, and Skeleton Marksmen, each type of unit numbered 36,400, evenly distributed. Compared to level 71, the Undead Legion had increased by a full 13,000. It would take Lin Moyu 4 hours of non-stop summoning to replenish them. Antares improved the quality of the Dragon Soul Crystal, while Lin Moyu replenished his Undead Legion. Both were busy, and although they were silent, they seemed to have formed a unique understanding, very harmonious. After 3 full days, the appearance of the Dragon Soul Crystal had changed subtly compared to before. It seemed to have become more agile. The Dragon Soul liquid within it shimmered, and the 9th color had appeared. Lin Moyu stared intently at the Dragon Soul liquid, and after careful observation, the 9th color was actually white. Antares is going to succeed. Lin Moyu clenched his fists, realizing that Antares was about to succeed. Now, only the last step remained to success. After a few more hours, above the rainbow of red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, violet, and black, another rainbow ring rose. A pure white rainbow ring. 9-colored Dragon Soul Crystal, the top-tier Dragon Soul Crystal among the dragons. The energy that had been boiling for several days completely extinguished, and Antares acted as if it had done something insignificant. 9 colors, barely passable. This guy is showing off. Chapter 610. I'm here hatching eggs, you believe it? Lin Moyu saw through it but didn't expose it, accepting the 9-colored Dragon Soul Crystal and saying with a smile, Antares is indeed amazing. Antares snorted arrogantly, just so, I haven't made Dragon Soul Crystals in too many years, I'm a bit rusty. Show off, keep showing off. Lin Moyu didn't expose it, as long as he got the 9-colored Dragon Soul Crystal, that was enough. The Dragon Soul liquid formed from 9 colors intertwined with each other, seemingly entangled yet distinctly separate, dazzling and enchanting. making people unconsciously intoxicated by it. Lin Moyu muttered, the 9-colored dragon soul crystal that is never given away, it seems I am the only one who has obtained it. No, you are the second, Antares denied Lin Moyu's words. Lin Moyu was slightly stunned. Didn't you say that 9-colored dragon soul crystals are never given away? Antares said, a long time ago, I gave one away. It was too long ago, there's no point in talking about it. Lin Moyu asked, how do you use this thing? The method is very simple. Use your soul to leave your mark on it, then store it in your soul. Chat with it whenever you have time, and communicate more. Lin Moyu was skeptical. Antares had learned some bad habits now, speaking both truthfully and falsely, often mixing half a joke in 10 true sentences. Following Antares' method, Lin Moyu used his soul power to make contact with the 9-colored dragon soul crystal. Suddenly, a sharp pain came from within his soul, as if someone had forcefully stabbed his soul with a small knife, causing a sharp pain. Lin Moyu couldn't help but tremble, grimacing in pain. Ha 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 ha, Antares! Laughter came from his ear. Lin Moyu knew that he had been tricked, this guy was really just teasing him. Truly, if you walk by the river often, you're bound to get your feet wet. He often used soul attacks on others, and now it was his turn to have his soul stabbed. This was really not ordinary pain. Seeing Lin Moyu being tricked, Antares laughed extremely happily. Too fun, you kid also have times when you get tricked. Lin Moyu tried to soothe the pain in his soul. Dead dragon, you've learned some bad habits. Antares had a grinning expression, one takes on the color of one's company. Lin Moyu was speechless and stopped this topic. Tell me the truth, what exactly should I do? Antares had a matter-of-course look. Just do it like that, this venerable self didn't lie to you. As for the pain in the soul, that can be considered a small test. Another test? Why do you dragons like tests so much? Tests here, tests there. It's not my problem, this question should be traced back to the ancestral dragon, it's a tradition passed down by it. If you have the opportunity to see it in the future, you can ask it. The ancestral dragon, is it still alive? Nonsense, the ancestral dragon is immortal and of course still alive. It's just that no one knows where it's living, anyway, it has disappeared for countless years. When mentioning the ancestral dragon, Antares still had a trace of respect. The ancestral dragon was, after all, the ancestor of all dragons, and this respect came from the depths of the bloodline, the soul's instinct. Lin Moyu once again began to try to use his soul to contact the dragon soul crystal. At the instant of contact, a sharp pain shot through his soul again. This time, Lin Moyu gritted his teeth and merely groaned, continuing to allow his soul to make contact. Fortunately, having experienced the Milan fire, Lin Moyu's tolerance for soul pain had increased significantly. Enduring the sharp pain, his soul began to formally connect with the dragon soul crystal. The dragon soul crystal didn't react at all, and Lin Moyu's first thought was that Antares was trying to fool him again. But thinking about it, it shouldn't be the case. Antares was usually measured and wouldn't mess around. Could it be that my method is wrong? Lin Moyu grimaced in pain, constantly sucking in cold air, and looked at Antares. Although Antares pretended not to react, its eyes betrayed it. This guy was just watching him make a fool of himself. Lin Moyu hardened his heart, I'll let you watch enough. Since small area contact doesn't work, I'll wrap you up completely. Originally, Lin Moyu had only separated a wisp of his soul for contact, but now he increased it 100-fold. A massive soul force, like a giant hand, completely enveloped the dragon soul crystal. Intense pain surged, and Lin Moyu felt as if dozens or hundreds of knives were stabbing him. The pain doubled, but he still endured it. With his soul force completely enveloping it, Lin Moyu clearly sensed why his soul was being stabbed. It was because the dragon soul crystal had dense dragon scales on it. The dragon scales were as sharp as knives. They were too fine and dense, to the point where you couldn't feel them by hand. But the sensitivity of the soul far exceeded the physical body, and it was stabbed immediately. The key was that these fine dragon scales had no front or back, and you would be stabbed no matter which angle you approached from. Antares' voice rang in his ears, did you feel it? In fact, dragon scales are one of our dragon race's weapons. Not to mention the mixed blood dragons, but as long as they are pure blood dragons, each of their dragon scales surpasses so-called mythic grade weapons. Lin Moyu firmly remembered what Antares said, perhaps it would be useful in the future, but he snorted, saying all this, what should I do? Antares laughed, Beg me, and I'll mercifully tell you. Beg my ass. Lin Moyu snorted. To ask him to beg it, what a joke. His soul force was like countless eyes, carefully examining the dragon soul crystal. He saw countless sharp, needle-like dragon scales, but he couldn't find the right method. Lin Moyu could analyze that what Antares said was correct, that he had to use his soul to make contact with the dragon soul crystal, but he hadn't found the formal method. The dragon soul crystal was infinitely magnified under his soul perception, and Lin Moyu searched inch by inch with extreme care. Suddenly, he saw an unusual place. This is the dragon's mouth. He saw that the dragon's mouth was slightly open, not completely closed. There seemed to be a gap between the dragon's lips. The gap was very small, and it was impossible to see with the naked eye. Only by looking with the soul, after magnifying it countless times, could it be seen. The moment he saw the dragon's mouth, Lin Moyu had a guess, it should be here. His soul force immediately drilled over, passing through the gap and spreading towards the interior of the dragon soul crystal. Suddenly, there was a cracking sound, followed by unprecedented pain. Even Lin Moyu couldn't help but scream. Antares' laughter rang in his ears again, as if it had expected this to happen. Lin Moyu felt as if his soul had been bitten hard, and a piece had been bitten off. In fact, that was indeed the case. The dragon's mouth on the dragon soul crystal had completely closed, and the soul that had entered it had indeed been bitten off. After eating a section of Lin Moyu's soul, the dragon soul crystal began to shine. Lin Moyu felt as if there was some kind of connection between him and the dragon soul crystal. The dragon soul crystal transformed into a stream of light and disappeared into Lin Moyu's body, appearing in his spiritual world in the next second. The dragon soul crystal transformed into a divine dragon, circling and coiling around Lin Moyu's soul. It occasionally breathed dragon breath towards Lin Moyu. The dragon breath contained vast and pure soul force, quickly replenishing Lin Moyu's previously depleted soul. Lin Moyu's whole body was glowing, shrouded in a 9-colored halo. He closed his eyes, feeling the power of the dragon soul crystal. His soul had recovered in the blink of an eye, and was even slightly stronger than before. The divine dragon transformed from the dragon soul crystal would breathe dragon breath every once in a while, enhancing Lin Moyu's soul level. And when Lin Moyu actively contacted the dragon soul crystal with his soul, there was no longer any pain, but he could feel a mysterious power from it, the power of the law. With Lin Moyu's current ability, he couldn't understand this power yet. It required accumulation, comprehension, and level. Lin Moyu wasn't greedy, he would take it slowly. Antares' laughter had stopped long ago. Diaresis A feels good, right? Lin Moyu felt his soul slowly growing stronger. Very good. Antares said with a proud expression, that's the 9-colored dragon soul crystal, the most top-notch treasure of our dragon race. Even within the dragon race, not many are qualified to obtain it. You kid, you really hit the jackpot. The level of the 9-colored dragon soul crystal itself was too high, far surpassing any mythic-grade weapon. Being able to obtain such a treasure couldn't be described as just good luck. Lin Moyu thanked Antares, thank you. Antares shook its big head, no need. When your soul is strong enough, you can start comprehending the laws. Don't rush to feel the power of the laws now, forcibly comprehending them will be counterproductive. Lin Moyu remembered the warning, Antares, why have you been staying in this world? Antares gave a surprised, why are you suddenly asking this? Lin Moyu said, I suddenly feel a little curious. With your ability, this world is too small. Antares chuckled, I'm here to hatch an egg, do you believe it? Lin Moyu was surprised, are you female? Chapter 611, who do you want to kill? I'll help you. Antares blew its beard and glared, get out. I naturally have my reasons for being here. Why are you asking so much? Do I have to report to you when I go to the toilet? Lin Moyu chuckled dryly, if you don't want to say, then don't say it, why are you getting angry? Antares snorted, mind your own business, just do your own thing well. When you become a transcendent, you will naturally know some things. Lin Moyu shrugged, okay. Then please, Lord Antares, send me to Meteorite Continent again. I'm not sending you, go yourself. I'm tired, I'm going to sleep. As Antares spoke, its head suddenly sank and it lay directly on the ground, then began to snore. Its appearance said, you handle it yourself, I'm on strike, do whatever you want. Okay, I'll go myself. I'll come back to find you in a while. Lin Moyu said as he flew outwards. After flying out 10,000 meters, his aura soared. A few minutes later, a space-time channel appeared in front of him, sucking Lin Moyu in. Lin Moyu had now reached level 72, and the upper space could no longer accommodate him. After he left the range controlled by Antares, he erupted with his own power again, and was soon sent to the lower space by the rules of the eternal battlefield. A gale swept over, and a familiar scent entered his nostrils. Wind flower. Smelling this scent, Lin Moyu knew he had arrived at Wind Thunder Continent. The fragrance of flowers accompanied the violent wind, striking my body, activating the skeletal armor, making it gleam. Opening my eyes, I saw wind flowers densely packed all around. An extremely large number, stretching as far as the eye could see. Above, below, left, and right, it was all the same. I never expected that I would not only return to the Wind and Thunder Continent but also fall into a wind flower swarm. It truly lived up to the saying, foes are destined to meet. Previously, when encountering a large wind flower swarm and facing the world boss within, I had to use a random teleportation scroll to escape. 567. A small feud was formed between us. But this time, Lin Moyu would take revenge for every grievance. What goes around comes around. I murmured softly, my soul slightly fluctuating. Lin Moyu's will is the mission of the Undead Legion. A massive number of undead soldiers appeared, quickly engaging in battle with the wind flowers. This time, the result was completely reversed. The last time Lin Moyu came, he had not yet completed his third-class advancement. Only with full combat power could he be on par with a level 85 or higher world boss. If he wanted to kill the world boss, he had to scheme meticulously, with instructions needing to be accurate to 0.1 seconds. But now, his strength was not what it used to be, and the wind flower swarm before him was no longer a threat. Lin Moyu didn't even need to summon the Skeleton King, the Undead Legion alone was enough to crush the wind flower swarm. The entire 140,000 strong Undead Legion swarmed out like locusts. After summoning the Undead Legion, Lin Moyu only did one thing. With a point of his finger, crimson light filled the sky. The world turned red, with small swords of curse everywhere. Lin Moyu realized that he was deep within the wind flower swarm, which was extremely large, numbering over 100,000. They stretched as far as the eye could see, dense and packed from all directions. Such a large-scale wind flower swarm should be rare even on the Wind and Thunder Continent. A world boss must exist, but I don't know how many there are. Wind flowers have a characteristic. The larger the scale, the higher the level and the greater the number of world bosses. Generally, in a wind flower swarm exceeding 1,000, a boss will inevitably be born. The boss born from a wind flower swarm is different from other monsters. This boss is an aggregate of the wind flower swarm's power. When the number of wind flowers exceeds 10,000, the boss's power will greatly increase, thus becoming a world-class boss. As the number of wind flowers increases and the scale grows larger, the boss's level will also increase. And when the number of wind flowers exceeds 100,000, there will be more than one world boss in the group. The specific number of world bosses and their levels depend on the size and scale of the wind flower swarm. According to the records in the ancient city of Divine Sha, the largest known wind flower swarm has over 600,000 flowers. There should be more than 8 world bosses inside, and each one is over level 85. Such a force is almost invincible on the Wind and Thunder Continent. Unless a divine-level powerhouse takes action, even level 88 powerhouses, or even those at the half-step divine level, can only flee in panic. In the history of the human race, there was once a level 89 half-step divine-level powerhouse who was besieged and killed by wind flowers. Even Lin Moyu had to escape when facing wind flowers in the past. It should be known that although Lin Moyu's level was not high at the time, he had killed the poisonous python and his combat power was not weak. Lin Moyu didn't know if this group of wind flowers was the largest one recorded. But it didn't matter, the Undead Legion had already taken action. Under the double attack of curses and the Undead Legion, a large number of wind flowers died instantly. Lin Moyu could sense a trace of soul power flying towards him from the dead wind flowers. The soul power turned into experience, and various notifications popped up. In the core area, after Lin Moyu left, Antares opened his eyes again. It opened its mouth and spat out a dragon pearl. This was a dragon pearl belonging to the dragon god, larger than Antares' own. The dragon pearl had complex patterns on it, patterns that appeared chaotic and irregular to Lin Moyu. But in Antares' eyes, they were the most beautiful patterns in the world. These patterns had a name: dragon marks. Dragon marks are only useful to the dragon race, containing the dragon race's inheritance. Especially the dragon god's dragon pearl, which contains the dragon god's inheritance. For any member of the dragon race, this dragon CJFA pearl is a supreme treasure, even for Antares. But after obtaining the dragon god's dragon pearl, Antares showed no excitement, but rather a burst of sadness. At that time, Antares roared constantly, shaking the heavens and the earth. Now it had calmed down, but its eyes were still full of complex emotions, and it muttered to itself, "Old guy, why did you leave the inheritance to me? Don't you have a more favored candidate? Why not give it to him? What made you change your mind? Old guy, won't you even give me an explanation? Throwing me here for tens of thousands of years, you're really cruel. He's your son, am I not your son? Now that you've given me the inheritance dragon pearl, do you think I'll forgive you?" Antares' voice gradually became sharp. The mist surrounding his body began to roll and rise, and his true form emerged from the mist. It was not the appearance he had in front of the dragon god. The pair of wings on his back had disappeared, and his appearance was not much different from the dragon god. Antares' aura continued to rise, no less than that of the dragon god. Antares said coldly, "I won't forgive you, even if you give me the inheritance, I won't forgive you. You are not a good father, and I am not a good son. When I get out, I will kill my way to the ancestral land, and I will take back what you refuse to give me. I will turn it upside down and dye the starry sky with blood. Even if I flood the ancestral land with dragon blood, I will not hesitate." Antares' killing intent soared into the sky, shaking the heavens and the earth. The entire ancient battlefield was buzzing and shaking non-stop. Lin Moyu on the Wind and Thunder continent frowned slightly and looked up at the sky. Thunder was constantly booming in the air, and thunder was extremely common on the Wind and Thunder continent. But Lin Moyu felt something unusual from the thunder. "It's Antares." Lin Moyu felt Antares' killing intent. "Antares, what's wrong?" Lin Moyu took out the dragon scale, activated it with his soul power, and shouted towards Antares. Antares did not respond, and Lin Moyu asked again, his tone even showing a hint of anxiety. He was Antares' friend, and Antares was also his friend. Lin Moyu didn't have many friends, and Antares was a very important one. When he felt Antares' strangeness, Lin Moyu was equally anxious. He asked 3 times in a row, but Antares did not respond. Lin Mo immediately wanted to activate the teleportation function in the dragon scale and return to Antares. Just as Lin Mo was about to move, Antares' voice came from the dragon scale, "I'm fine." Antares' voice was still a bit off, especially containing a deep sense of killing intent. Lin Mo asked, "Antares, do you want to kill someone?" Antares didn't answer, remaining silent. Lin Mo said, "Who do you want to kill? I'll help you." "You're too weak," Antares said faintly. Lin Mo said, "I am weak now, but it doesn't mean I'll be weak in the future." "Ha, do you know who I want to kill?" Antares chuckled, "If you knew, I'm afraid you wouldn't agree." Lin Mo said, "You are my friend, even if you want to kill the dragon god, I will still help you." There was a moment of silence on the other end of the dragon scale. Lin Mo seemed to have guessed something. "When I am strong enough in the future, I will accompany you to kill the dragon god." After another moment of silence, Antares' voice finally came, "Let's talk about future things in the future. I want to sleep, don't disturb me." The dragon scale dimmed, and Antares had already disconnected. Lin Mo sighed softly. It seems Antares also has many stories in his heart. At this moment, Lin Mo felt that he was indeed too weak. Too weak to even help his friends become stronger. Whether for himself, or for his friends, family, and loved ones, he must become stronger. Chapter 612. Weakness is the original sin. Looking at the wind flowers being massively slaughtered by the undead legion, Lin Mo murmured, "Weakness is the original sin." Although Lin Mo didn't know why Antares would come to this world, and not leave for so long. Lin Mo knew that Antares didn't come willingly, it had its own difficulties. No matter what the reason, it had helplessness, which is why it bred such great resentment. And the root cause is, because it's not strong enough. If it were strong enough to overwhelm the world, who would dare to make it do things it didn't want to do? If there is dissatisfaction, punch them back directly and teach them a lesson. A big fist is the ultimate truth. Lin Mo wanted to be strong to this point, "I am the truth." With thoughts in his heart, his hands didn't stop. The number of undead legion was rapidly increasing. At this time, a large area had been cleared around him, a large number of wind flowers were killed, and Lin Mo also gained a lot of experience. Although it's not as good as directly obtaining soul energy, this way there is no forced growth, which is more conducive to establishing a solid foundation. In the soul, the 9-colored divine dragon surrounds in spirals, spitting out dragon breath from time to nourish the soul, allowing the level of the soul to slowly improve. The dragon soul crystal has a huge nourishing effect on the soul. Not only does the soul's level improve, but Lin Mo also feels that the soul has become more solid. A sense of power fills his body, and the foundation becomes more solid. In the future, he will be able to build high and not have to worry about insufficient foundation. A huge aura came from the depths of the windflower group. Not just one, but several auras intertwined together. Finally here, Lin Mo looked over, thousands of meters away, several huge windflowers were swaying in the wind. Clusters of pollen were scattered, carrying a strange fragrance. The pollen fell on the skeletons, and they exploded one after another. Fireworks were staged in the air, colorful and extremely dazzling. The power is not very good, but it looks pretty good. Lin Mo's heart moved, and the Headless Knight had already charged towards the Windflower boss. The charge skill was activated, and the Headless Knight instantly killed, immediately surrounding the Windflower boss. 1, 2, 3. A total of 6 Windflower bosses, they are huge, hundreds of meters high. The fierce wind surrounds them, constantly rotating and whistling. Each petal is more than 10 meters, with layers upon layers of unknown numbers. The petals slap the Headless Knight like giant palms, and the huge force sends the Headless Knight flying. There are a large number of petals, and for a time it is like countless hands are patting, sending a large number of Headless Knights flying out. Some Headless Knights were swept up by the whirlwind around the windflower and blown away. The whirlwind not only blows away the Headless Knight, but its interior also contains a large number of knife-like wind blades, hitting the armor of the Headless Knight, making a fierce collision sound. The power is very strong, the strength attribute should exceed 1.5 million. This whirlwind should be a characteristic of the windflower, world boss all have some characteristics. Lin Mo could feel the extent of the Headless Knight's injuries, and probably had some judgment in his heart. With the physique attribute of the Headless Knight, the strength attribute that can easily shoot them down must exceed 1.5 million, otherwise it is impossible to do so. With a flick of his finger, the detection technique flew out. Giant Windflower, World-Class Boss. Level, 86. Strength, 2,100,000. Agility, 1 million. Spirit, 1 million. Constitution, 2,500,000. Skills, Pollen Explosion, Petal Burst, Windflower Blood Moon. Characteristics, Whirlwind Armor, 90% reduction in wind attribute damage, 50% reduction in physical damage, Enhanced Vitality, Enhanced Attack Power. The strength attribute far exceeds 1.5 million, reaching 2.1 million. The total attribute is 6.6 million, which is very consistent with its identity as an level 86 world boss. The level and attributes are very strong, and the Headless Knight can't even touch it. 6 giant wind flowers came together, and the whirlwinds combined with each other, causing a storm for a while. They killed into the battlefield, the petals vibrated non-stop, and it was difficult for the undead legion to resist their attacks. Pollen continued to spread on the battlefield, and then exploded. The violent explosion also shook the undead legion in all directions. Although they can't kill the skeletons can't get close to them either. Even the elemental riot of the skeleton archmage was blocked by their whirlwind armor. Only the soul attack of the skeleton marksman can cause some damage to them, and that's it. The battlefield is not only the undead legion and the giant windflower, but also a large number of ordinary windflowers continue to surround, making it impossible for the skeletons to launch an effective siege against the windflower boss. 6 level 86 windflower bosses rampaged on the battlefield, greatly reducing the efficiency of the undead legion. Lin Mo saw it in his eyes and knew that the undead legion was still a bit short. After all, the level gap is here, and the gap is difficult to ignore. If the undead legion was also level 86 today, the situation of this battle would definitely be completely different. Lin Mo watched for a while and had already seen the result. The undead legion can't do anything to the windflower boss, and although the windflower boss can repel the undead legion, it can't kill them either. Even if the two sides fight for a few days and nights, it is estimated that it will be a tie. You have bosses, and I have them too. Lin Mo's heart moved slightly, and 50,000 skeletons disappeared immediately. The sky turned black, dark clouds were dense, and the temperature dropped sharply. In the dark clouds, the skeleton throne appeared, and the skeleton king slowly got up from the throne and waved his long sword. Lin Mo did not use all the skeletons to summon the skeleton king. Only used half, only 50,000. Due to the limitations of his own level, even if all 100,000 skeletons were used to summon the skeleton king, the skeleton king could only infinitely approach the god level, and its attributes could not break through the 10 million mark. This was a threshold, set by the laws. As long as Lin Moyu, the master, did not cross this threshold, his summons would be restricted. Lin Moyu had tried using 80,000 skeletons and 100,000 skeletons separately to summon the skeleton king. The total attributes of the two only differed by a few 100,000. For the skeleton king, whose attributes were approaching 10 million, a few 100,000 attributes were nothing. Later, after testing, Lin Moyu found that 50,000 skeletons were actually the most cost-effective. Its combat power was slightly weaker, but not by much. Lin Moyu could even use the remaining skeletons to summon a second skeleton king. However, Lin Moyu did not do so. The remaining 50,000 plus skeletons were perfect for dealing with ordinary wind flowers. The skeleton king appeared and quickly locked onto the 6 wind flower bosses. Skill: Godslayer. The long sword cut through the void, and terrifying sword light flashed in the air. A skill powerful enough to wound a god-level expert was invariably effective against level 86 world bosses. This sword simultaneously locked onto the 6 wind flower bosses, and the sword light slashed across them. A piercing sound seemed to echo in the air. The wind flower bosses faintly let out miserable cries. A large number of petals were chopped off, and the wind flower boss's appearance suddenly became strange and incomplete. These chopped-off petals fluttered in the air, each petal several meters in size. As a gust of wind blew, the petals suddenly changed direction. They were like the strongest weapons, piercing through space at an alarming speed and arriving in front of the skeleton king. Then the petals exploded violently. The skeleton king was blasted back, and visible cracks appeared on its white bones. Even the white bone cloak on its front and back was damaged. Its defense was actually damaged by the explosion, and the injury was not light. This showed how powerful the petal explosion was. As expected of a world boss, it always has some powerful skills. Lin Moyu was awestruck, if he had faced the wind flower boss in the past. This skill alone would have been enough to give his undead army a hard time. A skill that could seriously injure the skeleton king could easily kill his undead army. After being blasted back, the skeleton king quickly charged back, its body flashing with the light of healing spells. The Lich General continuously cast healing spells, and in less than 2 seconds, the skeleton king's injuries were healed. Midway, the skeleton king released a skill again. The elements instantly became chaotic, and explosions rang out. The wind flower bosses also exploded continuously, and the elements detonated. This time, their whirlwind armor couldn't stop it, the whirlwind was extinguished, and a large number of petals were blasted away again. The wind flower bosses refused to be outdone, and these petals instantly surged towards the skeleton king, exploding again. The skeleton king shone brightly, with absolute defense activated, forcibly enduring the petal explosion and arriving in front of the wind flower bosses. The bone sword in its hand slashed quickly, and for a time, sword energy crisscrossed and petals flew everywhere. The wind flower bosses surrounded the skeleton king and launched a siege on it. The skeleton king fought 6 against 1, wearing absolute defense, and was not at a disadvantage at all. Lin Moyu's heart stirred, and he pointed towards the air. The undead world projection descended, and the gate of the undead opened. Skill: Undead Gaze. 3. Chapter 613. It turns out wind flower snow moon is not a skill. The gate opened, the eye of the undead appeared, and instantly swept across the world. A large number of wind flowers died silently. The 6 bosses trembled simultaneously, and a large number of petals fell off. Soul damage caused them pain, and even their attacks weakened. The skeleton king took the opportunity to swing its longsword continuously, launching a fierce attack. The headless knights charged in from the periphery. At this time the whirlwind armor on the wind flower bosses had been blasted away, and most of the petals had been destroyed, unable to completely block the headless knights outside. The headless knights charged at the wind flowers, the knight swords in their hands slashed out like lightning, landing on the wind flower bosses. If one sword wasn't enough, then two swords. Although the headless knights' attacks could only cause a small amount of damage to the wind flower bosses, they were numerous. Almost every second, thousands upon thousands of sharp swords landed on the petals. The white bone hooves under them also stepped on the wind flowers, and the silvery white flames burned fiercely, also causing damage to the wind flower bosses. The wind flower bosses struggled frantically, but after their protective whirlwinds were blasted away, they could no longer stop the headless knights from all directions. For a time, the huge bodies were covered with headless knights. The scene of ants killing an elephant reappeared. Lin Moyu seemed to have returned to half a year ago. How did he get those world bosses one by one? Overcoming the strong with the weak? No, it was overcoming the strong with numbers. Even if every sword was just scratching, but with thousands of swords, tens of thousands of swords, basically tens of millions of swords, they could still exhaust the boss to death. The wind flower bosses struggled continuously, the petals were constantly being cut off, the number was getting smaller and smaller, revealing the thick and long flower stems. Lin Moyu watched them go bald, but unfortunately they didn't become stronger. At this time, the undead army had also cleared out the ordinary wind flowers. The undead gaze cooperated with the undead army. Every time it swept across, a large number of wind flowers would die silently. Another sharp sword light lit up. The Skeleton King's skill cooldown ended, and it swung the Godslayer's sword again. In the sword light, two wind flower bosses that had lost their petals were cut in half. Lin Moyu once again heard miserable cries coming from the air. Plant-type bosses rarely make sounds. The wind flower's sound was like the sound of the soul, coming from the wind, sounding incomparably desolate. The vitality of plant-type bosses was extremely strong. Even if they were cut in half, the wind flower bosses did not die, and still had great combat power. A large number of roots grew from under them, waving frantically, like braids whipping the Skeleton King and the Headless Knights. The last skill, it should be activated. Lin Moyu felt slightly curious in his eyes, wondering what the third skill of the wind flowers would be. The wind flower bosses had three skills: pollen explosion, petal explosion, and wind flower blood moon. Among them, the pollen explosion and petal explosion had already been seen. The pollen explosion was of average power, the petal explosion was not weak, but unfortunately the number of petals was limited. Now only the last skill, wind flower blood moon, remained. Just from the words, Lin Moyu could not analyze what kind of skill it was. Blood moon, what does it mean? The wind flower bosses continuously emitted the sound of the soul, screaming non-stop. The sound of the soul dissipated with the wind, spreading throughout the entire wind flower group. At this time, this super large wind flower group had been killed to only half its original size. The remaining number of wind flowers was less than 200,000. The 6 wind flower bosses had also been beaten half to death at this moment. Their soul sounds resounded throughout the heavens and the earth, and ordinary wind flowers actually made similar sounds. The frequency of the sounds quickly reached a consensus, and the sound of the soul immediately became several times stronger. A thunderclap rang out in the sky, followed by the parting of clouds and mist, revealing a bright moon. The Wind Thunder continent originally had no moon, not to mention the Wind Thunder continent, even the ancient battlefield rarely had a moon. But now, a large, round, bright moon was in the sky, shining brightly. Then Lin Moyu's expression changed slightly. He heard the soul whispers coming from afar. The moon in the sky seemed to be an amplifier, expanding and transmitting the soul whispers of the wind flowers, spreading throughout the entire Wind Thunder continent. At the same time, it was also a receiver, gathering the power of various wind flowers in the Wind Thunder continent. A large number of wind flowers flew towards the moon. The 6 wind flower bosses did the same. Layers of moonlight scattered, like invisible giant hands pushing away all the headless knights on the wind flower bosses, even pushing the Skeleton King nearly 1,000 meters away. Lin Moyu watched the wind flowers, large and small, flying towards the moon in the sky, without stopping them. His eyes were full of curiosity, marveling at the wonders of the world. What a peculiar skill, it looks very beautiful, I wonder what its power is. This skill was the most gorgeous and beautiful skill he had ever seen. Beauty often also means danger, and he had become vigilant. The moonlight grew thicker and thicker, and in just a few seconds, all the wind flowers had completely merged into the moonlight. Even the corpses of those wind flowers that had been killed earlier, lying on the ground, disappeared under the cover of the moonlight. Not only that, but there were more windflower groups in the distance. Although they did not come over, their power resonated with the bright moon through soul whispers. This continued for about 30 seconds, and then the bright moon began to change. It was stained with a layer of blood. Windflower blood moon. Lin Moyu suddenly understood the meaning of this skill. Although the Wind Thunder continent was the territory of demons and dragons, there were still many human race professionals active here. They all saw the blood moon. The blood moon shone on the entire Wind Thunder continent, causing the wind flowers to resonate. At this moment, countless wind flowers on the Wind Thunder continent faced the blood moon, blooming one after another, as if in pilgrimage. Windflower blood moon, this is the legendary ultimate skill of the wind flowers. It requires at least the world bosses in the Super Windflower group to cast it together, but who has the ability to challenge the Super Windflower group? Not just challenge, they must be beaten to near death. This is the ultimate skill. I wonder where this team came from. They are too strong. Could they be god-level existences returning from the deep space? Not only were human race professionals discussing, but demons and dragons also saw the blood moon. Each and every one of them revealed a look of shock. In the Wind Thunder continent, the most terrifying things were the Thunder Tree groups and the Windflower groups. The Thunder Tree groups do not move, they are there for all to see. As long as you do not provoke them, nothing will happen. But the Windflower groups travel with the wind, and who knows when you will run into them. Relatively speaking, the Windflower groups are even more terrifying. Especially its ultimate skill, Windflower Blood Moon. The number of times it has appeared in history is also very few. No one knows its true power, because those who have witnessed it are all dead. Lin Moyu found that the space was locked, and all teleportation items were ineffective. The mark left by the ancient god city of Divine Sha was dim, all teleportation items were ineffective, and even the teleportation stone to the abyss had lost its effect. The light of the blood moon carried the power of laws, suppressing the power of teleportation. Only Antares's dragon scale was still as usual. Antares's power was too strong, and ordinary laws could not suppress its power. At this moment, a sentence popped up in Lin Moyu's mind: a fight to the death. If it were any other professional, there would be no retreat at this moment. It was either life or death. There would only be one result between himself and the Windflowers. Otherwise, with a preparation time of up to 2 minutes, anyone could escape. The space was cut, forming an independent space. Unless the Windflowers were killed, it would be difficult to leave. In the blood moon, a huge windflower appeared. The windflower was hundreds of meters tall, its entire body covered with dense leaves, with countless layers of petals. The petals trembled for a while, shaking off countless pollen. A strong storm blew the pollen away, and almost in the blink of an eye, the pollen covered the entire space. Then the pollen exploded, covering every corner of the space, giving no room for evasion. The entire undead legion was submerged in the explosion. The power has increased a lot. Lin Moyu's expression changed slightly. The undead legion was collectively injured, the Windflower boss had become stronger. The explosion officially opened the prelude to the final battle, and the undead legion began to counterattack in the explosion. The Skeleton King raised his hand and unleashed a god-slaying sword. The sword light cut through the space, exploding on the Windflower boss, blasting off a large number of petals. But the next second, the fallen petals turned back and grew back again, as if they had not been injured. The Headless Knights launched a charge skill, and the blood moon suddenly shook, scattering thick moonlight. In the moonlight, the space became like a paste. The Headless Knights' charge skill was greatly hindered, and they could not even exert 1/10 of their usual speed. At this time, the Windflower once again scattered a massive amount of pollen in the air, blasting the Headless Knights back. The Windflower boss had become much stronger, exceeding Lin Moyu's expectations. A detection skill flew out, landing on the Windflower boss. Windflower Blood Moon. Level: 90. Strength: 2,500,000. Agility: 2 million. Spirit: 2 million. Constitution: 3,500,000. Skills: Infinite Pollen Bombardment, Petal Devour. Traits: Gale Armor, Wind Element Immunity, Rapid Recovery, Greatly Increased Vitality, Greatly Increased Attack Power. So Windflower Blood Moon is not a skill. Chapter 614, Possessing the Power to Devour Laws. Windflower Blood Moon is both a skill and not a skill. If you want to break it down, the Blood Moon is a skill, and the Windflower is not. The blood moon stood in the sky, gathering the power of almost all the wind flowers on the wind thunder continent. The wind flowers merged into one, and finally a wind flower boss of level 90 appeared. A god-level world boss, its attributes just reached the 10 million level. The aura belonging to the god level spread on the wind thunder continent, making people tremble. Perhaps because the wind flower was originally a native creature of the wind thunder continent, or perhaps for other reasons, it was not expelled by the rules of the ancient battlefield. It can unscrupulously exert the power of the god level in the lower space. No wonder, even if there are god-level powerhouses rushing from the deep space, they cannot fight for a long time. So the wind flower boss can be said to be invincible on the wind thunder continent, only the thunder tree group can compare with it. What a pity. Lin Moyu sighed softly. This sigh of pity contained multiple meanings. One of them was that it was a pity that the wind flower encountered himself. Lin Moyu had killed many divine-level beings, so naturally he didn't take the wind flower boss in front of him seriously. Even if it became divine level, so what? It should still be killed. A divine level boss should drop legendary grade materials, right? I wonder if there will be other good stuff. Lin Moyu muttered to himself. He couldn't use legendary grade materials himself, but Meng Anwen and Bai Yiyuan needed them very much. The human race was severely lacking legendary grade equipment, and many divine level powerhouses were still using quasi-legendary grade equipment. Lin Moyu stared at the blood moon, a hint of puzzlement in his eyes. The blood moon seems to contain the power of law. It's really strange, how can a boss that's only level 90 possess the power of law? The Skeleton King activated absolute defense, ignoring all kinds of damage, and led the Undead Legion to attack the blood moon. After several unsuccessful charges, the Headless Knight decisively activated group defense, protecting the entire Undead Legion, and charged up as well. Pollen kept exploding, but it couldn't stop the Undead Legion's attacks, and in the blink of an eye, they were killed right in front of it. Suddenly, petals fell off one by one, quickly forming a large petal net in the air, covering the Skeleton King and the Undead Legions. The Wind Flower boss activated its second skill, Petal Devour. The Blood Moon gathered the power of all the wind flowers on the Wind Thunder continent, and the Wind Flower boss reached divine level. The power of the pollen explosion has greatly increased, and the light of the Blood Moon has made the air as thick as paste. If they didn't activate defensive skills, the Undead Legions wouldn't be able to get close. Now that its second skill was activated, petals were falling, and it was clear that this skill was even stronger. The blood moon scattered layers of light, and the viscosity of the air increased dramatically again. Even Lin Moyu felt a sense of difficulty breathing. Under the moonlight, the petals multiplied from 1 to 10, and from 10 to 100, instantly occupying a large amount of space and completely surrounding the Undead Legions. Lin Moyu's heart skipped a beat, and he had a bad feeling in his heart. This skill, it seems, is very strong. He clearly felt a trace of the power of law falling from the blood moon into the petals. A huge and terrifying devouring power grew from the petals. Lin Moyu could clearly feel that the power and life of the Undead Legions were all being devoured. The Undead Legions disintegrated at an alarming rate. In less than 2 seconds, the entire Undead Legion collapsed. In the face of law, the Headless Knight's group defense and the Skeleton King's absolute defense were all ineffective. Because of Lin Moyu's talent, all damage was shared by all members of the Undead Legion, and even the skeletons outside the encirclement were not spared. The power of law is indeed very strong. But how can a wind flower that's only level 90 be able to wield the power of law? Lin Moyu was a little puzzled. One could only come into contact with the power of law at the peak of level 95 at the earliest. The wind flower boss was clearly only level 90, so it couldn't possibly come into contact with law. So there was only one possibility, that there was something wrong with the blood moon behind it. Lin Moyu turned his gaze to the blood moon, but couldn't see anything unusual. With the power of law, after annihilating the Undead Legion, the petals flew towards Lin Moyu accompanied by a gale. Lin Moyu's heart stirred, and the Undead Legion appeared again in unison. After their initial death, the Undead Legions collectively respawned in the summoning space. To kill the Undead Legions, they needed to be killed 5 times in 1 minute. Otherwise, the Undead Legions would exist in an undying and undestroyed state. The yin wind rolled, and the skeleton throne appeared in midair. The Skeleton King appeared again. This time, Lin Moyu used 100,000 skeletons to push the Skeleton King's attributes to the limit. The current situation was different from before, and mobilizing the Undead Legion was no longer very meaningful. It was better to concentrate all the power. In addition to the Skeleton King, the Headless Knights also appeared one after another. However, they did not step forward, but scattered and existed as damage-bearing units along with the Lich generals. The Elemental Lich, which had never been used before, also appeared this time to bring blessings to the Skeleton King. Mainly the Undead Aura, which allowed the Undead Legion to die one more time. The light on the back of his left hand flickered, and the Strong Soldier skill was activated. The Skeleton King instantly broke through to divine level. Under the blessing of the Strong Soldier skill, the Skeleton King possessed a combat power of around level 92, and the explosive power when using skills even reached level 93, entering the level of a middle god. The scarlet cloak fluttered behind him, the soul fire in the Skeleton King's head burned fiercely, and the white bone giant sword slashed out with a fierce strike. Skill: Godslayer. This strike can be said to be Lin Moyu's strongest strike without relying on external objects. The 1,000-meter-long sword light rubbed against the space, making a harsh sizzling sound. Countless roots suddenly grew from under the Windflower boss, each root shrouded in a gale, forming armor to block this sword. Wherever the sword light passed, the petals burst one after another. The roots were cut off neatly, and the sword light passed through the Windflower boss's body and slashed on the Blood Moon. With a bang, the Blood Moon trembled violently, making a deafening crash. The Windflower boss screamed incessantly, and the sound of its soul resounded through the heavens again. In the screams, its body was broken in two, and its upper body was falling. But the next second, the upper body began to reverse back, as if time had reversed. Extreme recovery characteristic. Just like the petals that were cut off earlier, it would automatically return to its original place and recover. Lin Moyu stared intently at the Blood Moon. When this characteristic was activated, the light of the Blood Moon became even more intense. This characteristic is related to the Blood Moon. The law of devouring is also related to the Blood Moon. This Blood Moon is unusual. Lin Moyu's heart stirred, and the Skeleton King activated the skill again. Skill: Elemental Riot. At the same time, the gate of the undead looked towards the Windflower. The elemental chaos exploded, and a mushroom cloud rose into the air in midair. The undead gaze's damage was increased by an additional 500% under the blessing of the Strong Soldier skill. In the explosion, the Skeleton King had already charged up like lightning, swinging his sword to chop and slash. Physical, elemental, and soul triple strikes followed one after another. Not only that, but a solidified fire god essence blood appeared in Lin Moyu's hand. Skill: Corpse Explosion. Flames rose, as if the fire god had been reborn, delivering a fatal blow. The Blood Moon hummed, and once again scattered the power of law. This was the law with the power of devouring, which not only devoured life, but also devoured attack damage. A large amount of attacks were devoured, blocking a fatal blow for the Windflower. Lin Moyu didn't stop there, and took out the essence blood of the god of poison again. Use Corpse Explosion again. The only thing that can deal with law is law. The essence blood of the god of poison also possesses a trace of the power of law. Before the mushroom cloud had dissipated, green poisonous gas suddenly appeared on the Windflower. Its body decayed rapidly in the poisonous gas. The range of the poisonous gas was not large, only covering a part of the Windflower. However, the poisonous gas seeped into the Windflower's body and spread rapidly. The Windflower struggled constantly in the poisonous gas, and the sound of its soul continued to resound. Lin Moyu could hear its anxiety, terror, and fear. The Blood Moon scattered the power of law again, wanting to devour the poison. But this time the law failed. The poison also possessed a trace of the power of law, and the two opposed each other, greatly reducing the devouring effect. Seconds later, the Windflower's voice disappeared completely. Only blood and flesh remained in the sky, no more Windflowers. Windflower slain, experience plus ***. Acquired Windflower heart. Acquired Windflower essence. Acquired Windflower seed. Windflower heart. Legendary material, can be used to create legendary weapons. Windflower essence. Legendary material, can be used to upgrade quasi-legendary accessories, elevating them to legendary boss accessories. Windflower seed. Can be handed over to a god-tier botanist for cultivation, the resulting Windflower will possess miraculous effects. Lin Moyu didn't even bother to check these details, he rushed towards the Blood Moon immediately. Compared to Windflower, he was more interested in the Blood Moon. Chapter 615, Weapon of the Bloodthirsty God. With Windflower dead, the Blood Moon remained. Lin Moyu arrived above the Blood Moon. From the ground, the Blood Moon appeared immensely large, like a true bright moon. No matter where one was located in the Wind and Thunder continent, the Blood Moon could be clearly seen. But only when Lin Moyu got close did he truly see that the Blood Moon was actually just a palm-sized disc. The disc absorbed a large amount of soul power, blooming into the appearance of the Blood Moon. When it wasn't infused with power, it was just a transparent jade disc. Now that the Windflower boss was dead, the Blood Moon was gradually dissipating. The light on the disc was rapidly receding, restoring its original appearance. Lin Moyu held it in his hand, sensing the power of the laws within it. Detection technique flew out, landing on it. Blood God Disc. Mythic grade weapon, weapon of the bloodthirsty god. Lin Moyu was surprised, he didn't expect it to be a mythic grade weapon, and also the weapon of the bloodthirsty god. The bloodthirsty god wasn't very famous, not as well known as the elemental gods. But that didn't mean it was weak. Its existence was somewhat unfamiliar to ordinary people, but it wasn't a secret to the royal family. Lin Moyu had once seen information about the bloodthirsty god in the secret vault. This was a high-level god, on the same level as the god of life. It was said that it was born from a pool of blood, eventually achieving godhood. The information also said that the bloodthirsty god possessed the ability to devour everything, being immortal and indestructible. Indeed, its weapon also displayed the power of devouring, capable of devouring both attacks and life. But could it really be immortal and indestructible? Even its weapon was lost. Needless to say, the bloodthirsty god must have fallen. As for why it fell, Lin Moyu wasn't clear. It probably had to be traced back to the previous era, or even further. Anyway, so many gods had already fallen, one more wouldn't make a difference. As for the reason, Lin Moyu had once wanted to know, but now he had let it go. What was the point of knowing? What use would it be? As Antares said, when his strength reached a certain level, he would naturally know what he needed to know. Lin Moyu was more concerned about how to use this mythic grade weapon. He definitely couldn't use it himself, but he could give it to Meng Anwen and the others. Teacher Bai and Teacher Yan's fighting styles are too intense, engaging in close combat, it doesn't seem suitable for this weapon. Teacher Meng is more suitable, I'll give it to him when I get back. The three teachers had been deeply kind to Lin Moyu, so Lin Moyu would naturally think of them when he had good things. After Lin Moyu put away the blood god disc, the blood moon in the sky completely disappeared. The wind flowers that would be born in the future would no longer possess this skill. Lin Moyu was now certain that the group of wind flowers he had eliminated was the largest group in the Wind and Thunder continent. The reason why this group of wind flowers was so powerful was precisely because of the blood god disc. The wind flowers are so powerful because of the blood god disc, what about the thunder tree group then? Lin Moyu's heart stirred, and he turned his gaze towards the center of the Wind and Thunder continent. There was the largest thunder tree group in the Wind and Thunder continent. The mountains stretched for thousands of miles, filled with thunder trees, countless in number. Enthusiasts had once counted that at least over 1 million thunder trees lived within it. The thunder tree group was even larger in scale than the windflower group. Millions. Lin Moyu suddenly realized something and quickly checked his experience. 98%. His experience had unexpectedly reached level 72. 98%, just 2% away from leveling up and reaching level 73. Destroying the windflower group almost leveled him up from level 72 to level 73. If anyone were to say now that leveling up in the wild was definitely slower than grinding in dungeons, Lin Moyu would definitely slap them awake. If you want to level up fast, you can come here to grind the windflower group. Leveling up once in half a day isn't a dream, of course, the prerequisite is that you can beat them. Before, when fighting the windflower group, Lin Moyu only deployed the Undead Legion, he hadn't personally taken action. Otherwise, the efficiency could be greatly improved. As long as there are enough monsters, my leveling speed can be infinitely increased. Lin Moyu knew that he had found a shortcut to leveling up quickly. Suppressing the excitement in his heart, he first checked his gains this time. The materials from killing ordinary windflowers, large and small, were countless. Fortunately, the storage space grew with the character's level. If it were at level 40, it would have been filled long ago. The Windflower boss dropped 2 legendary materials, Windflower Heart and Windflower Essence, which can be used to create or upgrade legendary equipment. For him, these 2 things didn't have much use. As for the windflower seed, it needed a god-tier botanist to cultivate it. As far as he knew, there were no god-tier botanists among the human race. Regardless of whether it was useful or not, Lin Mo Yu put the things away. Perhaps they would be used sometime in the future. After checking the attributes, Lin Mo Yu flew towards the center of the Wind and Thunder continent. The round moon disappeared. At this time, the entire Wind and Thunder continent seemed to be immersed in sorrow. Countless wind flowers on the continent were wailing, their king had been killed. The sorrowful aura was transmitted through the sound of souls. Many people couldn't hear the sound of souls, but they could feel the sorrow within it. Lin Mo Yu heard this sound, knowing that the wind flowers were crying. Weakness is the original sin. When the human race was wantonly slaughtered by demons back then, crying was also useless. So you must become stronger, constantly become stronger. Lin Mo Yu clenched his fist and said to himself again. The operation of all things in the world is like this, the law of the jungle. As strong as Antares, it was also thrown here, and it could even be said that it had lost its freedom. Antares has hatred, grudges, and murderous intent in its heart. But when it sees the Dragon God, what can it do? Doesn't it still have to call out Dragon God Lord, and hide its hatred? Lin Mo Yu doesn't want this. It's enough for others to experience this kind of pain, he doesn't want to experience it. After Lin Mo Yu left, many people came to where he was originally. There were demons, dragons, and humans. The three forces gathered, maintaining vigilance against each other. Many people came, the three forces stood in a balance, surprisingly maintaining considerable peace, and no one acted rashly. Everyone could feel the aura left by the previous great battle. This is a battle at the god level. I just saw the windflower snow moon, it turned out to be god level, so terrifying. It seems that a god level powerhouse came here specifically to kill the windflower groups. What is the origin of this god level powerhouse? Is it from our human race? A group of people speculated. Lin Mo Yu left after the fight and did not stay. Let them rack their brains, they couldn't figure it out. The three parties confronted each other for a long time, and finally retreated. The racial enemies who used to fight to the death upon meeting each other now maintained due restraint because of the appearance of a third-party race. No one wanted to be a snipe and clam fighting, only for the fishermen to benefit. Lin Mo Yu didn't know what happened. He rushed to the lightning mountain range of the Wind and Thunder continent at the fastest speed. After flying for about half an hour, Lin Mo Yu suddenly stopped. A group of Dragon Clan warriors blocked his way. There were over 100 Dragon Clan warriors, the highest level was 85, and the lowest was no less than 75, accompanied by a warship. Lin Mo Yu didn't find it strange that the Dragon Clan would find him. He carried a strong Dragon Clan aura, and he had just slaughtered 13 Dragon Kings of the Dragon Clan not long ago, making this aura even more alarming. Even hundreds of miles away, the Dragon Clan could sense it. When they saw Lin Mo Yu, the faces of the Dragon Clan warriors were both ferocious and hesitant. The aura on Lin Mo Yu's body was too strong. In their eyes, Lin Mo Yu's aura was like billowing smoke soaring into the sky. They had never seen anything like this before, and couldn't imagine how many Dragon Clan people Lin Mo Yu had killed. Jiao good. They felt that they had been too rash in coming over, and perhaps they would become dead dragons under Lin Mo Yu's hands. Lin Mo Yu quickly gave them the answer. Lin Mo Yu didn't stop at all. The Headless Knight rushed out. The charge skill was activated. The Headless Knight rushed over like lightning, instantly collapsing the Dragon Clan's ranks. The warship was smashed to pieces by the Headless Knight, disintegrating in midair. The Dragon Clan warriors were killed on the spot by the Headless Knight in horror. Only the level 85 Dragon Clan warriors symbolically fought back twice. As for the other Dragon Clan warriors, they couldn't even make the most basic counterattack. Lin Mo Yu flew past without stopping. I forgot, this is the Dragon Clan's territory. I wonder how the Dragon Clan's secret realm is. I wonder if the poisonous gas has dissipated. I'll go back and take a look after destroying the Wind and Thunder tree groups. Lin Mo Yu still remembered the last secret realm, the derivative blood pool inside. Although it can only replicate level 70 Dragon Clan warriors, no matter how many there are, they are no threat to him. But it's very dangerous for other professionals. If a war is launched, it may cause considerable casualties. Lin Mo Yu plans to go back and take a look, if possible, then destroy the derivative blood pool. Chapter 616, The Kingdom of Thunder Trees. Along the way, he encountered several more groups of Dragon Clan. They came over following the aura, but when they saw Lin Mo Yu, they were all terrified. Lin Moyu didn't give them a chance to escape, and they all became souls under the Headless Knight's sword. Lin Moyu had an idea in his mind, perhaps he could sweep through the Wind and Thunder continent, slaughter all the Dragon Clan and Abyss demons in the Wind and Thunder continent, and drive them out. But this idea was nipped in the bud as soon as it came up. Although this would greatly improve the safety of the human race in the lower space. But it's not a good thing for the human race. Survival of the fittest. The human race needs to become stronger in battle, so that they will not lose their fighting spirit. The thunder was getting louder and louder, and there was even more lightning and thunder in the air. Thunder snakes roamed in the air, striking down from time to time. The lightning struck the thunder trees and was absorbed by the thunder trees. The thunder trees rely on absorbing lightning to continuously become stronger. Lin Moyu had already arrived in the area where the thunder trees were located, and as far as the eye could see, there was an endless thunder tree mountain range. The Lightning Mountain Range, the mountain range with the largest number and scale of thunder trees on the Wind and Thunder continent. Millions of thunder trees live here. No one knows how many bosses there are inside, or how strong the bosses are. Moreover, there are many other monsters in the thunder tree groups. They coexist with the thunder trees without interfering with each other. This place is sparsely populated, and no one wants to come here. Thunder trees do not actively attack, but these monsters will. If you get entangled by monsters, it will be very troublesome. If you accidentally use area attacks and provoke the thunder trees, that would be fatal. If the thunder trees attack in groups, not many professionals can withstand it. But it's still safer than wind flowers, as long as you're lucky enough and don't go too deep, you can escape. If you have already gone deep into the Lightning Mountain Range, 003, then you can only pray for yourself. Lin Moyu flew into the Lightning Mountain Range for about 100 miles and then stopped, instead staying in the high altitude, looking at the thunder tree groups below. The thunder trees are of different heights, the shorter ones have thinner trunks, and the taller ones have thicker trunks. Different thicknesses, heights, and lows also represent different levels of thunder trees. Normally speaking, the taller and thicker ones have higher levels. This is the record in the data, and it is also the information that everyone knows. Lin Moyu observed carefully and found some different things. Thunder trees are in units of 10,000, and every 10,000 thunder trees will form a small area. This area division is not obvious, but you can actually see it if you look closely. Lin Moyu murmured to himself. He saw that the thunder tree groups were also divided into blocks of their own areas, with dozens of meters of intervals between each area. And some monsters can be seen living in these intervals. If the entire Lightning Mountain Range is regarded as a kingdom, then these areas are like cities in the kingdom. Each city is clearly defined. There are exactly 10,000 thunder trees in an area, and among the 10,000 thunder trees, there is one that grows extremely thick, which is the leader, and also a world-class boss. From the aura it exudes, Lin Moyu roughly judged that it should be around level 80. CJAC continuing to look into the depths, Lin Moyu also flew towards the depths of the Lightning Mountain Range. This place is completely deserted, becoming the world of thunder and lightning and thunder trees. Even wind flowers cannot survive here. Lin Moyu observed all the way and saw many different pieces of information. Thunder trees live together in groups of 10,000. After exceeding 100,000, an even thicker thunder tree will appear among them, becoming the leader of these 100,000 thunder trees. The area composed of these 100,000 thunder trees is like a province in the kingdom. If it looks like this, there should be a real king in the thunder trees, who commands all the thunder trees. And this king should be in the center of the Lightning Mountain Range. Lin Moyu looked towards the center of the Lightning Mountain Range, and the power of his soul spread out. Coincidentally, a thunderclap lit up in the distant sky. The entire Thunder and Lightning Mountain Range lit up, and Lin Moyu saw dense electric snakes spreading like spiderwebs from afar. The space twisted, as if about to be torn apart. Lin Moyu watched. What amazing lightning, it's already very close to the god tier level. After the lightning spread for hundreds of miles in the air, a bolt of lightning connected the sky and the earth, crashing down. Within the lightning, Lin Moyu saw a huge thunder tree. The thunder tree was located at the highest peak of the mountain range, connecting the sky and the earth, fearless of the lightning strikes. This is the king of thunder trees. Lin Moyu affirmed its existence at a glance. Although he didn't have detection skills, he had roughly guessed its level. At least level 88, possibly even level 89, but not quite god tier. It didn't have the aura of a god tier being. Moreover, the closer to this Thunder Tree King, the stronger the Thunder Trees were. Taking advantage of the lightning, Lin Moyu also saw a group of boss-level Thunder Trees. Not just a few, but a group. These Thunder Tree bosses guarded the Thunder Tree King like protectors. Lightning continuously struck it, then spread underground. Lin Moyu narrowed his eyes slightly, the lightning disappeared after entering the ground. Is there something strange underground? Lin Moyu felt something was wrong, but couldn't quite put his finger on it. Ever since seeing the structure of the Thunder Tree group, Lin Moyu had a strange feeling that the Thunder Trees didn't seem like plants, but more like animals. Ordinary plants wouldn't form such a pattern, it was too orderly. From the information obtained so far, Thunder Trees possessed a certain degree of intelligence and instinct, and even some simple governing rules. Dividing areas by country, province, and city, this didn't seem like something plants could do. Just as he was thinking, a sharp cry came from his ear. A thunder eagle, sparking with electricity, flew out from the Thunder Tree group and pounced straight at him. A flash of fire appeared in Lin Moyu's hand. Skill, Soul Flame. The Thunder Eagle crashed to the ground with a scream. This Thunder Eagle wasn't very high level, only around level 75, and it wasn't even a boss, it was almost instantly killed by the Soul Flame. It fell back to the ground, then continuous screams rang out, becoming a chorus. The Thunder Tree group seemed to be in an uproar, and a large number of Thunder Eagles took off and pounced towards Lin Moyu. Truly, hitting one provoked a whole group. Lin Moyu had originally come to the Thunder and Lightning Mountain Range to fight Thunder Trees, so naturally he would fight the monsters in the mountain range as well. The Undead Legion appeared in the air. Before the Headless Knights could launch their charge skill, the Skeleton Archmages and Skeleton Sharpshooters had already taken the initiative. Elemental Explosion, Soul Assassination. Elemental attacks and soul attacks were launched simultaneously. The Flying Thunder Eagles immediately fell like rain. They fell into the Thunder Tree group, still carrying the aura of elemental chaos. The flames after the explosion hadn't completely extinguished. These flames also spread to the Thunder Tree group. The branches and leaves of the Thunder Trees swayed, emitting lightning. Crack! The lightning exploded in the air with a loud noise. Like a signal, the Thunder Tree group moved as a whole, and the entire Thunder and Lightning Mountain range moved. Lin Moyu stood in the high sky and saw an amazing scene. He finally understood why this mountain range was called the Thunder and Lightning Mountain Range. The mountain range, over 1,000 kilometers deep and hundreds of kilometers wide, instantly turned into an ocean of thunder and lightning. All the Thunder Trees moved in unison, shooting out lightning that filled the sky. Lin Moyu and the Undead Legion were instantly submerged in lightning. The characteristic of electric element immunity allowed Lin Moyu to ignore the lightning attacks. But the Undead Legion couldn't, they were constantly injured in the lightning. The Undead Legion received the bonus of Lin Moyu's passive skill Elemental Resistance, reducing all elemental damage received by 8 times. Even if each lightning strike didn't do much damage, there were too many of them. The principle of ants killing an elephant also applied to the Undead Legion. In the Thunder and Lightning Mountain Range, there were over 1 million Thunder Trees, and now at least a third of them were attacking him. The density of the lightning was astonishing, it had already turned into a sea of lightning. Lin Moyu couldn't see anything but lightning. Following the wind flowers, Lin Moyu once again enjoyed the pleasure of being crushed by numbers. The Undead Legion traversed the sea of lightning and charged downwards. The Skeleton Throne appeared. This time, Lin Moyu changed his strategy, summoning 3 Skeleton Kings with a group of 30,000 skeletons. The Skeleton King's skills had a cooldown time, summoning 3 could launch 3 rounds of skills in a row, covering a larger area. To deal with ordinary Thunder Trees, a Skeleton King composed of 30,000 skeletons was already enough. The 3 Skeleton Kings spread out, traveling through the sea of lightning. Their powerful attributes allowed them to persist in the lightning for a while. Both the God-slaying and elemental chaos skills could perform area attacks. They locked onto the largest range, and each Skeleton King's skill could cover a distance of 3 kilometers. The skills were activated, indiscriminately attacking all enemies within a 3-kilometer radius. The bone sword slashed out, cutting off the lightning. Sword energies pierced the earth, sweeping through the Thunder Tree group. Countless Thunder Trees within the range were directly cut in half. Plant-type monsters had strong vitality, this alone was not enough to kill them. Elemental chaos followed closely, and in a loud explosion, a large number of Thunder Trees were uprooted and destroyed. White light rose from Lin Moyu's body. With one strike, he gained a massive amount of experience, reaching level 73. Chapter 617, Using All Means, Thunderstorm Battle. Level 73, in less than half a day, from level 72 to level 73. Lin Mo Yu believed that even his own sister, Lin Mo Han, couldn't have this kind of leveling speed. Although he didn't have his sister's talent for leveling, as long as he killed fast enough, he could be comparable to talent. His gaze swept over the Thunder Tree group, and he slowly uttered 8 words, "Their death ground, my paradise." The Thunder Tree group was a death ground for others, but for Lin Mo Yu, it was a true leveling paradise. In terms of efficiency, it couldn't be compared to any dungeon or secret realm. The only drawback was that it could only be done once. The interval was too long. In terms of sustainability, it was not as good as a dungeon. However, the Wind and Thunder continent wasn't just the Thunder and Lightning mountain range. There were also some slightly smaller Thunder Tree groups, and there were also Wind Flower groups with a scale of 100,000 in the air. These could all become his leveling targets. Lin Mo Yu estimated that if he could clear all the Wind Flowers and Thunder Trees, he could at least reach level 76, 7 to 7. He could also harvest a large number of materials. These materials were useless to him, but they were still somewhat useful to the human race. The 3 Skeleton Kings used 2 skills, directly clearing 3 areas. In these 3 areas, all the ordinary Thunder Trees were dead, only a few boss-level Thunder Trees were still alive. The Skeleton Kings waved their bone swords and rushed up, quickly killing them. Then the Skeleton Kings once again braved the lightning and rushed towards other Thunder Tree groups, waiting for their skills to cool down. The Headless Knights had also charged down, and were engaged in a fierce battle with the Thunder Tree group. Large swaths of Thunder Trees were cut down under their swords, eradicated at the root. Lin Mo looked in the air, seeing everything clearly. Although there were only 3 Skeleton Kings, their attack power was immense, each sword strike carrying 100 meters of sword energy. A single sweep of the sword would cut down hundreds of Thunder Trees, killing them completely once again. In contrast, although the Headless Knights were numerous, their efficiency was far inferior to the Skeleton Kings. Moreover, the Skeleton Kings could unleash a skill once every minute, causing massive damage, making their efficiency surpass that of the Headless Knight Legion. The Thunder Tree group was too large, and contained a large number of boss units, coupled with the continuous Thunder Sea. The accumulating damage was too much, even the Lich General's full-force healing skills couldn't keep up. Relying solely on the Undead Legion to clear the Thunder Tree group was insufficient. Lin Mo had considered this situation from the beginning, so he himself was not idle. Pointing a finger towards the sky instantly darkened, and the phantom of the undead world appeared in the air. The gate of the undead opened, the eye of the undead emerged, and amidst the raging flames, the eye of the undead swept across, gazing at the Thunder Tree group. In an instant, large swaths of Thunder Trees died simultaneously. Even if their appearance seemed normal, without any wounds, their internal souls had been obliterated, dead beyond death. Then, pointing a finger downwards, the Curse of Aging was activated. When facing world-class boss units or god-level powerhouses, the effect of the Curse of Aging was not obvious. But when dealing with mobs, the Curse of Aging was still a powerful weapon. Thunder Trees within a 10,000-meter radius were covered by the curse, and a touch of red was added to the white thunder fire. Under the dark shadow of the undead world, this touch of red seemed incomparably enchanting. Lin Mo locked onto a Thunder Tree corpse whose soul had been obliterated. Then, soul force emanated, locking onto a larger area, tens of thousands of Thunder Trees. When the number of locked targets reached 10,000, Lin Mo felt a sense of weakness from his soul, a feeling of being overwhelmed. So 10,000 is the limit. Lin Mo realized that with his current soul force, he could only lock onto a quantity of 10,000, any more in his soul force would be insufficient. But 10,000 was enough. Gently pressing his palm down, skill, corpse explosion. There was almost no sound. The Thunder Tree corpse chosen by Lin Mo exploded. Immediately afterward, all the Thunder Trees locked by soul force exploded. The explosion had no fire, but it was extremely dazzling. Tens of thousands of Thunder Trees were blasted into pieces, and the powerful shockwave swept out, blowing other Thunder Trees askew. The sound of the explosion came several seconds after the explosion occurred. The explosions were continuous, like firecrackers. None of the Thunder Trees locked by Lin Mo were spared, all of them died collectively. Thunder Tree groups in units of 10,000, except for the leader boss, other Thunder Trees were instantly obliterated. But the explosion was not a single wave, those thunder trees that were blown up beside the boss became Lin Mo's best weapons. Crisp explosion sounds continued to ring out, one after another. After a dozen explosions, the leader of this 10,000 tree group finally couldn't hold on. Thunder tree groups also had an advantage, that is, they would not move, they were simply the best targets. Lin Mo's actions attracted the attention of a large number of thunder trees. A large amount of thunder light instantly fell on him. But Lin Mo was completely immune to the element of electricity, letting the lightning bombard him, calm and unruffled. Lin Mo even wished that all the thunder trees would attack him, so that the undead legion would not have any pressure. The Skeleton King's skill cooldown ended. 2 skills were used in turn, once again clearing a large area of thunder trees. Undead Legion, Undead Gaze, Corpse Explosion. Under the triple attack, in just a few minutes, more than 100,000 thunder trees had been cleared. The thunder tree group has never experienced such huge casualties. At this time the thunder trees in the entire Thunder Mountain range were alarmed. Even the thunder trees behind the hillside began to act. Since they could not move, they shot thunder light into the air one by one. The thunder light gathered above the sky, and finally formed a thunder ball. Then the boss units in each thunder tree group exerted force at the same time, joining in, and the thunder ball turned into a thunderstorm. The thunderstorm descended, 10,000 thunders moved together, covering Lin Mo and the Undead Legion. This attack did not know how much power of the thunder trees had been gathered. The thunder light was so strong that it directly severely damaged the Undead Legion. The Skeleton King cast absolute defense, immune to 99% of the damage. The Headless Knights joined forces to launch a group defense, raising the defense power to the limit to resist the thunderstorm. Even the Gate of the Undead Gaze was attacked by the thunderstorm and shattered. Only Lin Mo was safe and sound in the thunderstorm. Lin Mo's hands did not stop. Corpse explosion, one after another. Asking for flowers. After the corpse explosion skill Star Core was moved into his soul, he no longer needed to approach the enemy to use the skill. As long as the enemy is locked by its soul, the attack of the explosion will pass through the space barrier and arrive directly. The range becomes larger, the quantity becomes larger, and the power is relatively reduced. The skill becomes more flexible and more controllable. After Lin Mo used it several times, he was already handy. It ignored the lightning attack and freely shuttled through the Thunder Sea thunderstorm. Wherever he went, explosions continued, and thunder trees died in pieces. The number of thunder trees destroyed by Lin Mo alone exceeded the sum of the Undead Legion and the Undead Gaze. Hatred continued to accumulate, and Lin Mo became the most hated person by the Thunder Tree group. But the Thunder Tree group could not do anything to him. No matter how strong the lightning hit him, it would not have any effect. Lin Mo's characteristic of immunity to lightning was fully displayed. At this time, Lin Mo had transformed into a Thunder Tree killer, pushing all the way and killing wildly. No tree could stop him. The thunder trees seemed to realize that the thunderstorm was ineffective against Lin Mo, and stopped attacking Lin Mo, instead targeting the Undead Legion. At the same time, dozens of Thunder Tree boss units rose from the ground. They actually left the ground. The earth shook, pulling out countless thick roots. The roots lashed towards Lin Mo like whips. Lin Mo had expected it. How could the dignified Thunder Tree group only use lightning attacks? Roots like whips were also a common tactic used by plant-based monsters. Even the rootless wind flower would use this trick, let alone the thunder trees rooted in the earth. Lin Mo retreated rapidly. He did not want to be hit by the Thunder Tree boss units. The roots were not just whipping so simple, more terrible was the entanglement. Once entangled, it would not be easy to escape. While retreating, the soul was still locked on them. Corpse explosion continued to activate. Explosions continued on the Thunder Tree boss units, blowing their branches and leaves flying. But they still rushed towards Lin Mo, very fast. There were too many Thunder Tree boss units. In the blink of an eye there were more than 20, surrounding Lin Mo from all directions. They were tall, the body was up to dozens of meters, plus the roots, the covered area exceeded a kilometer, did not give Lin Mo any space to dodge. A flash of fire flashed in Lin Mo's hand, and a drop of solidified fire god essence blood exploded. The surrounded Thunder Tree boss units screamed, and suddenly a raging fire burned on their bodies. They were all level 80 plus boss units. How could they withstand the fire god's strike? Almost instantly killed in seconds. A series of prompts sounded, and Lin Mo's experience soared like a rocket. Having just completed the upgrade, the experience has now reached 25%. Lin Moyu realized that the experience from the Thunder Tree group was far more than he had expected. There are too many bosses among them. If they are all cleared, not only can he reach level 74, but it is very likely to reach level 75, or even higher. The thunderstorm fell again, and the Undead Legion finally collapsed in the thunderstorm. The Skeleton King was shattered, and the Headless Knight was swallowed by the Sea of Thunder. Chapter 618, The Powerful Thunder Tree King. The Undead Legion collapsed in the Sea of Thunder. Affected by the talent, the Undead Legions collapsed together. They live together, and die together. Only a few special situations will produce accidents, that is, when an individual suffers an extremely powerful attack. Instantly kill it, causing the talent to fail. However, as the undead's levels get higher and higher, this situation is gradually decreasing. Less than half a second after the collapse of the Undead Legion, a brand new Undead Legion reappeared. 3 Skeleton King thrones appeared in the air again, and the 3 Skeleton Kings and Headless Knights once again killed the Thunder Tree group. If you want to kill Lin Moyu, you must first destroy the Undead Legion. And if you want to completely destroy the Undead Legion, you need to kill them 5 times within a minute. Otherwise, the talent will be reset every minute, the Undead Legion will be reborn, all skill cooldowns will disappear, and the Undead Legion will have 4 more chances to be resurrected. Although the thunderstorm is strong, it will take several minutes to destroy the Undead Legion. Lin Moyu doesn't need to worry about the Undead Legion being in danger at all. Moreover, as the battle progresses, the Thunder Tree group will be killed more and more, and the Undead Legion will become stronger and stronger. The Skeleton King waved his bone giant sword, and with skills, a large number of Thunder Tree bodies died. Lin Moyu killed into the depths of the mountain range, and the corpse explosion swept all the way, unstoppable. In the sky, the Eye of the Undead reappeared, a large number of undead flames burning, and the Eye of the Undead stared at the mountain range. Wherever the eyes could reach, the Thunder Trees died one after another, and their souls were erased. Less than half an hour after the start of the battle, more than 300,000 Thunder Trees had been killed or injured. Lin Moyu's experience soared all the way, exceeding 50%, and if he continues to kill, he will soon be able to upgrade again. As the Thunder Tree, under the 2 overlords of the Wind and Thunder continent, I never thought that I would be slaughtered like this. Just like Fenghua, who owns the Blood God Plate, never considers that he will be killed. After all, on the Wind and Thunder continent, he can display God-level combat power and use a trace of the power of law, who can be his enemy. Unfortunately, they all met Lin Moyu. What is even more tragic than Fenghua is that Lin Moyu is immune to thunder and lightning, and the Thunder Tree's strongest attack method is ineffective against him. Lin Moyu entered the land of no one and killed into the depths alone. No matter how the Thunder Tree attacks, it has no effect on Lin Moyu. The war spread all the way, the Thunder Trees died more and more, and the mountains were turned into wasteland. The Thunder Tree King let out a roar from the depths of its soul. It was finally alarmed and awakened. Thunder rumbled, and countless electric snakes draw out in the air. The souls resounded, and all the Thunder Trees simultaneously sent out the sound of their souls, resonating with their king. Lin Moyu's eyes suddenly shrank, and a thunderbolt, like a sharp arrow, shot towards him. Not ordinary thunder. This thunder is invisible to the naked eye, only the soul can sense it. Soul attack. As soon as the thought arose, the thunder had already appeared in the soul world, stabbing towards the soul like a sharp arrow. Lin Moyu was still encountering a soul attack from someone else for the first time, and he couldn't think of any way to defend against it for a while. He has always used soul attacks to hit others, and now he is finally get his feet wet, and he is being retaliated against. Now, the only option is to resist. The dragon soul crystal entrenched above the soul suddenly gave out a dragon's roar, facing the incoming soul attack. One bite swallowed the soul attack. Then, as if nothing had happened, he continued to return, still entrenched in Lin Moyu's soul. The previous soul attack was like a dream bubble, as if it had never appeared. Dragon Soul Crystal, it even has the effect of protecting the soul. Lin Moyu was extremely surprised, followed by strong joy. With the Dragon Soul Crystal, his soul is safe, so he can let go even more. The Thunder Tree King seemed to realize that his attack had no effect, and the souls were even stronger. Lin Moyu could hear its anger from the soul. Along with its voice, a large number of monsters flew up from the mountains and pounced towards Lin Moyu. As the Thunder Tree King, it can not only command the Thunder Tree, but also affect the monsters in the mountains. Lin Moyu quickly locked onto these monsters and used corpse explosion continuously. The Eye of the Undead also swept over these monsters. The monsters that had just taken off fell again before they had time to approach Lin Moyu, and died unexpectedly. Several black shadows shot from the ground, their speed was amazing. Lin Moyu quickly flew back, barely avoided. The black shadow swept past Lin Moyu and made a turn in the air and lashed over again. Lin Moyu then saw clearly that the black shadows were the roots of the Thunder Tree. It's just that this time it is the root of the Thunder Tree King. The place where Lin Moyu is located is at least hundreds of kilometers away from the Thunder Tree King. In his eyes, the Thunder Tree King is just an insignificant little black dot. But even so, the root of the Thunder Tree King can also lock him. The root of the Thunder Tree King is so long. Attacking himself from hundreds of kilometers away, Lin Moyu was really shocked. Lin Moyu flew in the air, dodging the black shadow again. Then more black shadows broke out of the ground. The Thunder Tree King doesn't know how many years it has existed. It is over 1,000 meters high, and the luxuriance of its roots is even more unimaginable. At this moment, a large number of roots broke out of the ground, lashing towards Lin Moyu from all directions like dragons and snakes. Each root is more than 10 meters in diameter, and Lin Moyu is like a tiny dot in front of them. Lin Moyu dodged quickly. Although there are many roots, Lin Moyu's speed is also very fast, and the range of activities is expanded again and again. Like shooting flies with cannons, the roots of the Thunder Tree King couldn't do anything to Lin Moyu for a while. However, in this way, Lin Moyu also couldn't spare his hands to attack the Thunder Tree. Suddenly, all the roots shrunk back. Lin Moyu was slightly stunned and realized something was wrong. The next second, the roots broke out of the ground again, and the target turned to the Undead Legion. Lin Moyu personally saw the roots entangle the Skeleton King. The Skeleton King shone brightly, and the absolute defense skill was activated. The Bone Giant sword cut off the roots, but the roots of the Thunder Tree King were hard outrageous. It takes several swords to cut off. Before one root was cut off, several more wrapped over. In the end, the Skeleton King was completely entangled and could not move. The Headless Knight was no better off, and was also lashed everywhere by the roots. Lin Moyu could feel the information transmitted from the Skeleton King. Being entangled by the roots made them unable to move. When the absolute defense skill time passes, they will die. We must eliminate these roots. Lin Moyu soared into the high sky, heading rapidly towards the King of Thunder Trees. The Eye of the Undead took the lead, gazing at the King of Thunder Trees from afar. Boom! Lin Moyu seemed to hear a loud noise, and a scream echoed in the sound of his soul. Undead gaze caused considerable damage to the King of Thunder Trees. But Lin Moyu also felt the powerful soul of the King of Thunder Trees. The soul of the King of Thunder Trees was already connected to all the Thunder Trees in the Thunder Mountains, definitely not weaker than any low-level deity, and even comparable to a mid-level deity. Undead gaze could cause some damage to it, but it was far from enough to kill it. Lin Moyu didn't expect Undead gaze to kill it either, it was enough to make it feel pain. It was also a way of retaliating. Lin Moyu flew across hundreds of kilometers at the fastest speed, crossing the Thunder Sea directly to the King of Thunder Trees. Only when you get close can you know how huge and terrifying the King of Thunder Trees is. It is located on the main peak of the Thunder Mountains. From a distance, it looks like a mountain peak, but only when you get close do you realize that the main peak is actually the King of Thunder Trees. It's not that it is rooted on the main peak, it is the main peak. It was completely underestimated before. It is connected to the mountains, and its height is more than 1,000 meters. Huge, thick roots are intertwined and connected, spreading towards the distance. All the Thunder Trees are its descendants. Below it, there are 18 world boss level Thunder Trees, each hundreds of meters tall. They didn't move, nor did they attack Lin Moyu who had arrived. Their aura is connected to the King of Thunder Trees, and their souls are connected, forming a thunder barrier to protect themselves and the King of Thunder Trees. Lin Moyu felt a strong vitality from the mountains. Plant-type monsters have amazing vitality, and the King of Thunder Trees is even more so. Within the mountains, millions of Thunder Trees provide vitality to the King of Thunder Trees, endlessly. No wonder it grows so huge. If it weren't for the law restrictions of the Wind and Thunder continent, it would have become a god long ago. To kill it, you either have to use absolute power to cut off its vitality and obliterate its soul, or you have to destroy all the Thunder Trees before you can kill it. Lin Moyu realized that killing the King of Thunder Trees would be a very difficult task. But having fought to this point, he had to try no matter what. The summoning space suddenly vibrated slightly, and the undead legion was reborn in the summoning space. Under the attack of the King of Thunder Trees, Roots, the undead legion died for the second time. However, 3 minutes had passed since the last death, so it didn't have much of an impact. The undead legion appeared again, and the skeleton throne appeared in the air. This time, there was only one skeleton throne. The Skeleton King, composed of 100,000 skeletons, rose from the throne with a vast aura. The back of his hand shone brightly, and the elite troops skill was activated. The Skeleton King instantly broke through to the divine level. Kill. With a thought from Lin Moyu, the Skeleton King swooped down with intense killing intent. Chapter 619, The King of Thunder Trees is calling for help. The elite troops skill is still one of Lin Moyu's main killing moves. Its existence can break restrictions and break rules. It is clear that the Skeleton King is restricted by his own level and cannot reach the divine level. The attributes of the Skeleton King summoned by either 80,000 or 100,000 skeletons are only a few 100,000 apart. Moreover, the more skeletons there are, the smaller the increase. Infinitely close to the divine level, but unable to touch the threshold of the divine level. An inexplicable law firmly restricts the Skeleton King. But the elite troops skill ignores the law, allowing the Skeleton King to directly reach the divine level. And not just level 90, at least level 92. The level 92 Skeleton King charged down, accompanied by the Headless Horseman who was also blessed by the elite troops' skill, with immense momentum. Lin Moyu's eyes flashed with brilliance, and his thoughts raced. It's a pity that the Skeleton King summoned by 100,000 skeletons is still restricted. If there were no elite troops' skill to break the restriction, it still wouldn't be able to reach the divine level. My level has become a shackle. The thought of becoming stronger once again grew in Lin Moyu's mind. His gaze was filled with killing intent as he looked at the King of Thunder Trees below him. After the King of Thunder Trees strangled the undead legion, countless roots retracted, and the mountains shook violently. Then mud and rocks shot into the sky like a fountain, and the roots also rushed up with them. The number of roots was so large that it was appalling, countless. The Skeleton King locked onto the roots, skill, Godslayer. The sword light erupted, and countless roots were cut off neatly. Then came the second skill, Elemental Riot. Large areas of the sky exploded, with constant roars and dazzling light. Countless thunder trees were killed or injured within the range. The Skeleton King, who had reached the divine level, had extremely terrifying combat power. It killed its way to the thunder barrier, and with a single sword strike, it created a huge opening in front of the barrier and charged in. The Headless Horseman then killed towards the surrounding thunder tree group. They didn't have the combat power of the Skeleton King and couldn't deal with the boss. However, dealing with ordinary thunder trees was not a problem. Especially with the elite troops' skill blessing, killing ordinary thunder trees was also extremely efficient. Lin Moyu's gaze fell on the 18 world bosses outside the King of Thunder Trees. To kill the King of Thunder Trees, not only must the Thunder Tree group be destroyed first, but also these 18 world bosses must be dealt with. Each of them is around level 85. In the past, Lin Moyu would have dared to provoke only one at most. If he provoked two at the same time, he would have run away. But now, Lin Moyu didn't take them seriously. There were many ways to kill them. It was truly a different time, a different situation. Following Lin Moyu's will, after the Skeleton King broke through the barrier, it did not go to find trouble with the King of Thunder Trees, but instead killed the 18 world-class bosses guarding the King of Thunder Trees. With the Skeleton King's combat power at this time, killing them was not difficult. Before the Skeleton King could get close, the King of Thunder Trees let out a sharp soul sound. Large amounts of mud and rocks were blown away, and thick roots lashed out, colliding with the Skeleton King's bone giant sword. The power of the roots was surprisingly great, and they actually knocked the Skeleton King, who possessed divine-level combat power, flying backwards, crashing heavily into the thunder barrier. Countless roots broke through the ground, blocking the Skeleton King's path. The King of Thunder Trees continuously emitted thunder soul sounds, the sound becoming heavier and heavier, and its entire body was shrouded in thunder light. The roots were also quickly covered in thunder light, and all the roots became thunder whips. The Skeleton King once again pounced over, fighting with it. Lin Moyu watched, and discovered that the closer it got to the King of Thunder Trees, the stronger the roots became. Although the King of Thunder Trees has not yet reached the divine level, it doesn't know what method it used to actually give itself the power of the divine level. Lin Mo Yu continuously analyzed, vaguely feeling that something was wrong. It was very difficult to break the law restrictions, and ordinary methods would not work at all. If it weren't for that source rune, even he would not be able to allow the Skeleton King to break through to the divine level. But the King of Thunder Trees, without breaking through to the divine level itself, actually allowed its attack power and defense power to all reach the divine level. Moreover, it wasn't just a simple god level, already capable of fighting the level 92 Skeleton King to a standstill. Thinking about the blood god disc possessed by the Wind Flower leader, Lin Mo thought that the Thunder Tree King might also possess something similar. Or perhaps, it accumulated power over countless years, leading to this result. Or perhaps, the power of all the thunder trees in the entire mountain range was gathered together, allowing its power to break through to the god level. In any case, there was definitely something strange about the Thunder Tree King. Lin Mo's heart stirred, and the undead eye in the air flew towards the distance, beginning a massacre of ordinary thunder trees. The more thunder trees he killed, the more the Thunder Tree King's power would be weakened accordingly. Moreover, Lin Mo could also reap a large amount of experience. Lin Mo didn't forget his original intention, he came here to level up by killing monsters. Taking out a drop of solidified fire god's essence blood, his soul locked onto the 18 thunder tree bosses through the thunder barrier. The skill was activated accordingly. The Thunder Tree King seemed to sense the danger and let out a shriek. The 18 thunder tree bosses simultaneously erupted with intense lightning, forming a defense. But it was useless, no matter how strong the world bosses were, they couldn't block an attack equivalent to that of the fire god. Even if he couldn't kill them instantly, Lin Mo could still do it a second or third time. The skill was activated, the fire god's essence blood cracked, and Lin Mo simultaneously flew backward. Several thick roots lashed out in the air, but Lin Mo dodged them. Lin Mo's soul power covered this world, and he was fully aware of all the movements around him. The battle situation seemed intense, but in reality, it was all under his control. Flames soared into the sky, and within the thunder barrier, the 18 world bosses were simultaneously enveloped in flames. Lin Mo heard their painful cries. These sounds were like cries for help, begging their king to save them. The Thunder Tree King extracted a large number of roots and wrapped them all up, and a massive force washed over them, extinguishing the flames instantly. The 18 world bosses had been burned half to death, and their life force was extremely weak. The Thunder Tree King wrapped them around itself, and frantically poured life force into them, causing them to recover quickly. At the same time, it continued to control its roots to entangle with the Skeleton King, while also attacking Lin Mo, preventing Lin Mo from freeing up his hands. The Thunder Tree King had powerful combat strength, and it had to save its trees and kill people, keeping it extremely busy. However, it also had its limits, and it no longer had the ability to control the Headless Knights. Lin Mo shuttled through the air quickly, seeing the Thunder Tree King healing its subordinates, gathering all of them together. It's good that they're gathered together. A drop of green essence blood appeared in his hand, the essence blood of the poison god. Detonate. This was already Lin Mo's third trump card. This move had always been effective, except when dealing with the Demon Emperor and the Dragon Emperor. Even if the Thunder Tree King already possessed god-level combat strength, it hadn't truly broken through to the god level yet. Lin Mo was certain that it couldn't block it. The Thunder Tree King once again sensed danger, and its whole body was trembling, and its soul sound was extremely sharp. The poison god's essence blood was detonated. 150 cloud of green poisonous gas exploded from the Thunder Tree King's body. The range of the green poisonous gas was only a few dozen meters, which was nothing compared to the Thunder Tree King's massive size. But the Thunder Tree King let out an extremely miserable cry, and its whole body shook non-stop. The poison would spread into its body, flowing throughout its body, causing its whole body to fester. The tree trunk where the poison erupted was rapidly rotting. The Thunder Tree King's whole body surged with lightning, and a large amount of life force poured in from all directions, entering its body. It tried to use the life force of all the thunder trees in the entire mountain range to fight against the poison. It's useless. Lin Mo knew very well that the poison god's essence blood contained a trace of law. Only law could fight against law, otherwise, no matter how much life force came over, it could only delay it for a moment. The poison was spreading, and the Thunder Tree King was screaming more and more miserably. It could only delay, but couldn't stop it. Its power was weakening, and its life was truly threatened. Suddenly, its soul sound changed. From a scream to a cry for help. Lin Mo felt its emotions and felt strange, it's asking for help. The Thunder Tree King is already the undisputed king of the Thunder Mountain Range, who else can it ask for help from? Could it be that there is an even stronger existence in the Thunder Mountain Range? Lin Mo's soul power covered the heavens and the earth, but he didn't sense any powerful existence. Moreover, in the lower space, the strongest was only level 89. Unless there was strength like that of Antares. But in the next second, his expression suddenly changed. A massive aura rose from below the Thunder Mountain Range. An extremely terrifying existence was awakening. Chapter 620, The Terrifying Existence Beneath Thunder Mountain Range. Danger, danger, danger. His soul kept sending out warnings. The terrifying aura was rising. From just awakening to reaching the god level, it took less than half a second. Half a second later, the aura broke through the god level. But this was not the end. Level 91, level 92. It was still rising. Lin Mo was extremely shocked, there was actually such a powerful existence hidden. The aura was powerful and ancient, as if it had been accumulated over countless years. The mountain range shook, and a beam of blue light shot out from the ground, exploding in the air, and then turning into lightning that fell on the Thunder Tree King. The poison was quickly dispelled, and the trace of law inside it also dissipated. The Thunder Tree King emitted joyful emotions through its soul sound, it was saved. Lin Mo's face changed. Being able to dissolve law meant that the other party was also an existence that had come into contact with law. Moreover, judging from the other party's aura, even if it hadn't reached level 96, it was at the peak of level 95, having touched the law. How could there be such an existence in the lower space? It's too unreasonable. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled in the air, and a sea of thunder was instantly generated, sweeping across the entire mountain range. Lightning fell densely, the earth was rumbling, and the Thunder Mountain Range was constantly shaking. A flash of lightning happened to strike the Headless Knight, and the Headless Knight silently turned into ashes, instantly returning to the summoning space. And the other Headless Knights were not affected. This showed that the lightning's attack power had far exceeded the upper limit of the Headless Knight's acceptance, possessing the power to instantly kill it. Lin Mo's heart was drumming, wanting to leave, but at the same time he was curious, wanting to see what kind of existence it was. Relying on his immunity to lightning, Lin Mo decided to take another look after thinking about it. He had already activated the mark of the ancient city of Divine Summer, and could return to the ancient city of Divine Summer at any time. At the same time, Antares's dragon scales were also ready, and if it really didn't work, he could return to Antares's territory. Since the space wasn't sealed, Lin Mo felt his safety shouldn't be a problem. Moreover, since this boss was slumbering here, slumbering for such a long time, there must be restrictions, making it impossible to act recklessly. The mountain range moved, not a tremor, but the entire mountain range moved. The mountain range, over 1,000 miles long, suddenly rose to a higher altitude. It was as if a giant below was lifting the entire mountain range. Then Lin Mo saw a gigantic claw. The shock in Lin Mo's eyes was hard to describe, even more shocking than when he saw Antares. This claw had 6 fingers, and the palm alone was tens of kilometers in size, exceeding 100 kilometers including the 6 fingers. Lin Mo watched as it crushed a mountain peak. Lightning flashed on the claw, and then a bolt of lightning struck down from the sky, hitting Lin Mo with incredible accuracy. Lin Mo felt a numbness all over, and a massive force surged into his body. The Undead Legion collectively collapsed. Lin Mo was shocked, he was actually injured by the lightning element. If he hadn't been hurt, the Undead Legion wouldn't have collapsed. But he was immune to the lightning element. Why was this happening? Could it be the laws? A sudden shock went through Lin Mo, and he thought of the only possibility. It was still the lightning element, but with a trace of law within it. Another lightning bolt struck down, too fast for Lin Mo to avoid. He felt numb all over again, and the Undead Legion in the summoning space collapsed once more. At this moment, Lin Mo saw the gigantic claw move, slapping towards him. Before the claw even arrived, the fierce gale had already blown him back uncontrollably. Pitch-black cracks appeared in the space where the claw passed. Without thinking, Lin Mo directly activated the mark of the ancient city of Divine Sha, instantly disappearing from the spot. The claw struck empty, and thunder rumbled in the sky. A pair of eyes appeared beneath the mountain range. Only this pair of eyes, with lightning flashing within. After a moment, the eyes closed again, the mountain range sank once more, and the claw retreated underground. The sea of lightning in the sky sank underground, and lightning crackled across the land. Large patches of thunder trees alternated between withering and flourishing, the previously killed thunder trees all withered, turning to ashes, leaving no trace. Then new seedlings grew, bursting with vitality. Within the lightning, there was both the power of destruction and the vitality of life. The Thunder Tree King swayed constantly, its wounds already healed. Thick roots spread throughout the mountain range, constantly loosening the soil. In this way, it wouldn't be long before the Thunder Mountain range could return to its former appearance. Ancient city of Divine Sha, Lin Moyu suddenly appeared in the square. His appearance was silent, without alarming anyone. The sounds of conversation and footsteps reached his ears. Sensing the familiar aura of the human race, Lin Moyu breathed a long sigh of relief. I didn't expect such a being to exist in the lower space. Even the space was torn apart, its strength is very close to level 96. Its control over lightning is so powerful, it's probably not weaker than the thunder god of the past. What is its identity? It seems the thunder trees are just its servants, or rather, its subordinates. I'm really curious, Lin Moyu muttered to himself, while also being more curious about why the other party's lightning ignored his immunity. Was it really because of the laws? Lin Moyu discovered that the higher his level, the more strange things he seemed to encounter. Things that constantly exceeded his imagination appeared. Lin Moyu didn't dwell on this issue, he would ask Antares when he had the chance, his own guesswork would probably only be speculation, without any definite answers. The ancient city of Divine Sha was still lively, with people coming and going. It must be said that only the human race could possess an ancient city in the lower space. Legend has it that a transcendent changed the laws of this land, allowing cities to be built on it. Lin Moyu knew that this wasn't the case. The ancient city of Divine Sha descended from the sky because its existence caused the laws of this area to be changed. There was no transcendent at all. The origin of the ancient city of Divine Sha was a mystery, but Lin Moyu was clear that its origin must be extraordinary. At least it wasn't a product of their era, and it had a great relationship with the human race. When the ancient city of Divine Sha first descended, demons and dragons had come. But none of them succeeded in settling down. Until a Divine Sha person succeeded, so it was named the ancient city of Divine Sha. As for where the ancient city of Divine Sha really came from, he didn't know, perhaps one day he would figure it out. Lin Moyu didn't stay in the ancient city for long. He left the ancient city and went to the cliff outside the city, where there were some teleportation arrays that could go to the wild continent. One of the teleportation arrays belonged to the Jalan Guild. Lin Moyu had registered in the teleportation array and was qualified to use it. He would first go to the wild continent, and then go northwest all the way to the meteorite continent. Lin Moyu was helpless that this upgrade plan failed. Now his experience was stuck at 73rd level 80%, still a little bit away from 74th level. If he could find a suitable monster group on the way, he might be able to complete the upgrade before arriving at the meteorite continent. Lin Moyu activated the teleportation array, and after dozens of seconds of teleportation, he crossed the Azure Dragon Sea and arrived at the wild continent. Lin Moyu also wanted to go to the Azure Dragon Sea to take a look, to see what was under the ice layer of the Qingqing grassland. But after thinking about it, he gave up. After all, he had no experience going into the sea, and he also had something to do now. Perhaps if he had the opportunity in the future, he could explore it. After arriving at the wild continent, Lin Moyu saw the Jalan Guild station. He didn't sense Jalan Liang's aura. Knowing that Jalan Liang wasn't here, Lin Moyu didn't bother to say hello. Jalan Liang had said at the time that he might return to the human world, perhaps he had already returned. Lin Moyu spread his lightning undead wings and sped northwest. The first place he entered was the Qingqing grassland. The sword grass on the Qingqing grassland was still fresh in his memory, and now that he was revisiting the old place, he discovered the difference here. He sensed a faint law on the Qingqing grassland. The law was very weak, but it really existed. This Li Wanghao law seemed like a big net, covering every corner of the Qingqing grassland. It was because of this law that the sword grass on the Qingqing grassland had the ability to reflect damage. Laws, it's laws again. Many puzzles are related to laws. Lin Moyu found it strange. Everything he felt puzzled about seemed to have the existence of laws. The existence of laws means that it is at least related to a peak level 95 powerhouse, or even a powerhouse above level 96. Only they are qualified to access and drive laws. He is not yet qualified to explore. If it is said that the gap between ordinary professionals and God-level professionals is a huge hurdle. So, being able to command the laws is the second threshold. Each threshold is vastly different, and once crossed, it's another vast world. Lin Mo thought about himself while flying. Strictly speaking, I haven't crossed the first threshold yet. Don't be deceived by your own combat power, everything still lies within yourself. Only when you become stronger yourself are you truly strong, everything else is an illusion. Not relying on external objects. It's difficult, but it must be done. Lin Mo clenched his fist, firm in his belief. In anything, only when your fist becomes bigger and harder do you have the qualifications.